down and send it is.
Oh, it's fucking
Oh, brilliant.
He just drove into the pit wall at the kink.
Fucking Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Fucking hell.
James!
What did you actually say? I was busy scratching my nose.
Yeah.
And you managed to hit a wall. That's
No,
impressive.
I didn't. I missed it.
Auntie, have you watched it?
I didn't hit it.
All I seen was your jerk left, a load of dust, and you was at that fucking kink at the pit entrance.
Oh, only Daz could crash in a straight line. You can't blame Mariah that time, can you, Darren?
No, itchy nose.
He's allergic to Christmas music.
Your rules was you got to get bonfire night out of the way. It's gone.
No, I didn't say that.
That's what you said the other week.
No, I didn't.
Remembrance, Matthew. Remembrance.
No, I didn't say that.
No, I did.
Fine, we get Sunday out of the way.
Monday,
no.
I think you're fine.
Fine, we'll get Monday out of the way.
Yeah, quick.
No, Matt, I did not say that day.
He's going down the pit straight again. Got an itchy nose,
I missed it.
I mustn't have had an itchy nose this lot.
So I can say that on comms tonight if I see Daz in that barrier. Oh, I must have been scratching his nose.
He must have been itching his nose.
Matt, I have told you when Christmas is coming.
Yeah.
25th of December.
Yeah. And it's not firework night.
Tree's going up this Friday, then.
You're a fucking sad bastard.
I'm surprised it's not been. I'm surprised it's been took down, Matt.
Yeah, you got to make room for other things, haven't you? You know what I mean?
Oh, Easter, and then put it back up.
Well, it is. She wanted it up for Halloween to put some Halloween stuff on it.
I've seen that last year actually.
And then slowly take the Halloween bits off and put the Christmas bits on. So next year it'll probably be up on October. But obviously it'll be up in October as a Halloween tree, not as a Christmas tree. Is that allowed, Darren? Up in October with Halloween decorations?
What are we going to put in there? Fucking dead stuff.
No, she wants like Nightmare Before
stuff. He's going to put a murder tree up.
You know, like I got mate. To be fair, she does what she wants. I can't stand Halloween. I think it's pointless.
Does what she wants because you just get told, bitch.
It's getting worse and worse every year around here. Nobody goes out. Nobody does it.
No one can fucking afford all the bollocks.
It's just another. It's not a holiday. It's just another fucking day of, Why do I need to take my kids out? I buy them a load of bag of sweets and that's it. Be done at home. I'll eat them all, but.
Popcorn.
What popcorn you got? Salted, caramel,
salt, sweet, mixed with M&Ms.
Ooh. Excuse me. Tight grid again. A second separates the top 10 at the minute, but you don't know kind of what fuel loads has been what. Eckholt's 2.2 off the pace. Jesus. Struggling.
It's like look between 5th and 10th. There's not even half a tenth in it.
No.
I think there is just half a tenth. Oh,
3-2 full time.
Fucking hell, that's fucking nuts.
And Postacoglu, shit.
Played better with 10 in the second half.
Nom nom.
Holding on to me so tight. What more can I do? Oh, darling, all I want for Christmas is you. Alex Powers never had a pole position at SimPlay. Oh, peeing in. That's your 7th, but 400ths of a second and you'll be 4th.
Mad.
So you're 7th, but you're not really far away, dude. At the same time, 400ths of a second, you could be 11th, you could be 10th. So McLaren needs 6 wins, 5 wins. Can't get it now this week. Dan Davies 2 podiums for 200. Gary Leach 3 podiums for 100. Can't get it this week. Mercedes 1 win. I don't think Callum's going to do it. Aston need 3 podiums, and with Alex on the scene, and Diz, and Ben and Kieran. Where's Alexis? What's Alexis's next milestone?
I give up. Fuck it.
You got UV lights yet?
No, I haven't had them yet.
Okay, no, they're taking a while, aren't they?
I know.
So, baby.
I'm back.
Nobody's had a nervous poo yet.
I'm about to have one.
Right, I'm gonna start the other chat, boys, and start
Okie dokie.
streaming and shit. I'll see you later, whoever's not on it. See you in there, boys.
Yeah, okay.
See you now. No, I think he's gone for like a fucking shit or something.
Fair enough.
That's why he's quiet. He's talking to his turds.
Oh, are you boys off? Best of luck, lads.
Yeah. Cheers, pal.
Take it
Thanks,
easy,
Matt.
man. Daz, nice and easy. Take it steady. You start 10th, so more cars behind you than in front. Dan, you just do you. You don't need me to give you a pep talk.
Matt,
Yes, mate.
see you on the podium.
Yeah, do you know what? Fuck it. I do fancy that. I do fancy that, Dan. I'll see you on the podium, mush.
I've cursed myself now.
Oh, shit.
Tony, don't fucking watch me.
Right then.
Just before you go, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yep, thank
Can
you.
anybody hear that?
Oh, Matt, the Discord mic was quiet yesterday
When?
when he was doing the interviews at the end.
We didn't do any
Very
interviews
quiet.
at the end. Was
Yeah,
that when
we
I was
did.
trying to read out the tables?
Yeah, you plugged your fucking keyboard
Plugged
in.
my
didn't you,
keyboard
knob?
into the PC and not my microphone, so I was coming through my
right.
webcam.
Right.
And then when I clicked on what I did, it had changed and sorted.
Okay. All right.
So, but yeah, no, cheers, dude. Yeah, best
See
of
you
luck,
later.
boys. Have a good one.
Cheers.
Love you all. Love you, Tony. Oh, I wasn't really.
Oh my God.
Fed up with this abuse from you, you Mardy cunt.
Well done, Tom.
Don't encourage him, Daz.
Somebody's got to keep you in check, mate.
Love you, Daz.
Right. Okay. See you later.
Fuck's sake. I don't want to go.
Just fuck off.
I don't want to go. Tony, come with me. I don't want to be in there on my own.
No.
Have you seen what Alex has put about you in the Discord, Dan?
No.
I see, Dan. I see you keep getting. I can see you keep getting faster no matter what. Good to race again with you guys. I didn't touch Aston Serious for now for like 3 months, and I hate this track. Amazing field. Oh, best luck to Streamlabs up. Tony.
Gonna fun up you, he's waiting.
Oh, he's not actually in the comms box yet. The comms box hasn't been started.
I bet any money you will still go on about his 800 subscribers.
Of course he fucking will. He won't let that go now for a bit. Holding on to me so tight. Your daughter started getting the Christmas trees up yet, Tone?
Probably.
How many
She
does
was
she
at
normally
it.
have?
20 something. She'll have had a Halloween tree up, guaranteed.
Yeah.
Fucking Halloween tree. What the fuck?
Yeah.
It's basically your Christmas tree, but with Halloween
Yeah, I know what the
decorations.
fuck it is.
Yeah.
I think she had either 21 or 22 trees last year.
I don't think that's enough.
It's basically a tree in every room in the house. Right. Bar the toilets.
I'd even get a small one for in there, you know.
She might well do.
Just put them on mantelpiece or something. On the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me. Still not started comms box. Cloudon's invited me to a party again. Back in a sec. Best of luck.
I'll probably be gone.
Yeah,
Cheers.
best of luck, dude. Where is
Mr.
everybody?
Duffin.
Where's everybody in your party, dude? Cheers, babe.
Oh, I haven't done the Discord chat yet.
Fair enough.
So I'm gonna jump in the Discord shortly.
Fair enough. I was going to jump in there and just, give you some, words and advice. You're lucky tonight, to be fair.
Am I?
Yeah.
In what sense?
I was going to change your name to Jamal Cloud and then put Ed on the end.
Oh, you are mean. You're so mean. Oh gosh. Oh, imagine if that did happen. My heart would be increasing.
I nearly did it. Does your mum watch live?
She does, not all the time, but she does watch it live.
Mrs.
sure,
or
so.
Miss Clouden?
Miss.
Right, Miss Clouden. Okay.
Yeah, man.
I'll give her a shout out.
Ooh.
And I'll tell her to keep her eyes on Edward Clouden for the rest of the night.
Oh, for crying out loud. She's never going to let that down, you know.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
She's not going to let that go, man.
Brilliant. No problem. Right, well, I'll let you get in your Discord call because I've got to start the stream. But have a good one tonight, dude. And best of luck.
I'll try my best, honestly. I'm struggling.
Yeah.
with this thing around here. It's just,
survival tonight, dude. Really, pretty much
Yeah.
survival around here, buddy.
Yeah.
But yeah.
that's
No,
what
take it
is.
easy, man.
No worries, bro. I'll catch you later.
See you later, dude.
Later.
Beatty! Beatty. 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 Oh, excuse me.
Fucking hell, these Turtle Beach Head wireless headsets are shit.
Where's your Rasmussen? Yeah, that seems right. Evening,
I bet you he's still moaning about Snetterton, isn't he, when he's fastest?
Who?
Dan.
Yeah, he still says he don't like it. He still says he's struggling. He's been on all afternoon, though, to be fair. He was when he first come on this afternoon, he was closer to a 47. And he's been on and on and on and just testing.
Don't worry, I don't really like Foxton.
He's not stable for that.
Nice to see Alex back.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, I can't say bad things about him because John will moan about me. Let's bring up a YouTube stream on my phone. Like the stream. Dan's live, Dan's is live, but I don't have enough screens. I don't have walls and walls and monitors, so I can't be like race control like that.
What else do I need up? Need to pick my keyboard up, that's for sure.
Ah, I might be getting a bit sick of him moaning about things.
Ew.
Dan.
What about?
Oh, I don't like this track. Schumacher. Stuff like that. It's just attacking the things I like all the time.
Ah. I'm with you.
Shall I attack him just straight out? I'm taller than him.
Fuck's sake.
Oh no, really? Come on, I'm not that much shorter than you, am I?
No, I don't think you are you?
Yeah. And it's even with a crippled back and a...
Black, Gary, Darren, Sky, Ben, Riley, Powell over crashing, still not going to
No overtaker?
He's confirmed.
He's not been online for 13 days.
He's probably appearing offline though, isn't he?
No, I checked to see his last played game. It's 13 days ago.
Blackmore, right, Eccles, Ledger, Cosme's not... no, is Ledger racing tonight?
Ledger's here.
Yeah, Ledger's there, so it's just Cosme, so Black U.
Yeah, Cosme's having wheel issues, isn't he?
Giggle's not here. Black U. Rasmussen, O'Brien, Alex.
Is it like all Fanatec's are having issue?
Is that one Alex? Yeah, that one's Alex, right. So Black out the qualified. So Dan, Mike, Machado, Vienna, Beasley's not here. So Black.
No.
Max Mulder, Tim, Winthrop, Daniel, they're not here. Black. Gary, Yo, Shumpamai, Ben, O'Reilly, Paolo for crashing. Alright, Jam. Black. Skunky, McGowan, Cloud and Deers, Blackmore, right. Eccles, Ledger, Cosmic, Giggle. Just shut that door to him.
Ooh, deep down.
Has Auntie Emily told you to do that?
Yeah.
Did Auntie...
She said only if you're not streaming it. Ooh, deep down. Looks like it's mine now.
Jam, come here a sec.
Yeah?
Just come here.
Why?
Oh,
Dad,
Jam,
feel it,
boy.
fun.
I told you. Right, yeah, he is.
What? What?
He says he tried to steal it, but you Yeah, you are a cunt. That's right.
I said cunt. You give me that dip back.
Well, it's your
Antonio was chasing you around the house with you because you actually stole the dip bag.
No, I found the dib down. I didn't steal it.
And he used his fight against the jab.
How did you get it?
Like, I mean, what's his persuasion? So
Right,
basically,
go on.
tantrum, yeah?
Shut that door behind you, Jam. Love you.
Tonight's stream is brought to you by Dib Dabs.
Don't. Right. Okay, gonna go live shortly. That's what I've... Oh, no.
Just replying to a message.
Yep.
This might be happening a lot.
Okay. Okay, 5, 4. Good evening and welcome to SimPlay Motorsport as we head into that mid-season stage of the championship. We're here back on the British soils for Snetterton in the Norfolk area of the United Kingdom. I'm Matthew Duff, being joined in the commentary box by Phil Raiden. Mid-stage of the season then tonight, the second race will mark round 12 of this championship, and what a championship it has so far been, in which Dan Davis started to go off in typical Dan Davis fashion, Phil, but in recent weeks has been reeled in by O'Reilly a little bit. It's made for interesting watching. Obviously, we've been on about this past season, how close the grid is, but with Dan now not kind of having it his own way into this mid-session break, is going to make the back half of the season very, very interesting.
Yeah, and there's not many very long straights coming in the back end of the season. Well, Catalonia. And maybe Valencia, for start finish straight at Valencia, but I think the Lexus might start to struggle.
An interesting evening though here at Catalonia, in what is going to be a pretty tasty race. We saw in GT4 that it was pretty exciting and exhilarating. We saw last night in the Pro-Am again a lot more excitement, especially with them 3 drivers vying for their first race win in race 1 last night. And again, the grid order here, look, a second separates the top 12 drivers at the moment. It looks a good grid. 1 new driver, 1 returning driver, both have their names up the list. It's going to provide for dramatic racing.
It is, yeah, and well, Snetterton's not the widest because it was only FIA grade 3. If it was grade 1, it'd be about a mile wide, wouldn't it, these days? So that's our fear with Kyle Army trying to get the South African Grand Prix. Everything would be changed, and like Zandvoort was. But yeah, it's got to be a close fight again. Pro is proving the closest category in lap times. Well, Vienna, Macchiato and Wright haven't set a lap yet, but it's going to be fun.
Yeah, I think it's going to be absolutely brilliant tonight. So that returning face then is not out on the circuit. We'll get into him when he comes back. You've probably already spotted him on the list, and there is a new driver there that we'll mention as well on the formation lap. Good evening to Gary Clarbel and to Robert Smith. Is it just me, or is Phil really quiet tonight? Let me just turn him up a little bit for you then. Rob... Up he goes a little bit. And where is he on the circuit? Here he is. For Ms. Clouden, watching in the stream, that is Jamal's mum, or as we like to call him this week, Edward Scissorhands. He's driving with a finger that had, not stitches, but the other things that he put in, the strips, can't remember what they're called now. He sliced his finger, and that's why he wasn't able to race on Tuesday. So Edward Scissorhands is what Jamal shall henceforth be known. He's in the Mercedes. I've been told that his mum will get a good giggle out of that. She might be watching live, but she also watches it back if she can't watch it live. So, to Edward Scissorhands, we wish him the best luck in that Mercedes. Not nice, though, Phil, driving with a sliced finger. And he showed me a picture. It was a pretty good slice as well.
Yeah, well, I used to do it all the time when I was working with paper. Paper was the worst thing to cut your hand open on. Because it's such a fine cut as well, and it bleeds for ages, and
leaves a good skin.
You know when you've done it,
yeah.
Because you get, like, if you like salt and vinegar crisps like me, you put your hand in. I found the cut.
Yeah, and that's it. That's pretty much it. You know, it is as simple as that. Right, let's run you through the championship standings at this stage of the season. Then it is Dan Davis who leads the way, still with 791 points up for grabs. Dan Davis leads the way from Kieran O'Reilly. Skunky is then in P3. He's 103 behind. Overtaker's dropped to P4. Obviously missed last week. Should be here tonight. He has confirmed for tonight and will have to serve a qualifying ban. Max Mulder not here tonight, he's on 217. Michael Harris is P6 on 206. Michael Eckholt, couple of wins for him, has propelled him up into P7, with Sebastian Witchrup not here tonight in P8. Matt Wright is in P9 with Ian McGowan 10th. Emmanuel Machado is P11 with Edward Scissorhands himself in P12. Tim Ventic not here, P13. Ben 14th. Darren Yo, good second race at Monza. He's worked his way up into P15 then for the championship so far, so a good stage for him. Good few points last week for him out there at Monza. Paolo is P16 from Pedro Viana. Then it is Mike Matthews down in 18th, not having the season that he once had in the 296. Giggle is in P19 with Blackmore in 20th. Sky Schundelmeyer and Gary Leach 21st and 22nd, the two Porsche drivers not showing their true potential, I feel, this season. Diz 23rd with Daniel 24th, Cosme 25th, Richard Beasley 26th, Rasmussen Ledger for crashing, and then the new drivers of O'Brien and Alex.
Not really new driver was Alex, who racing in ARL as well.
Yeah.
Where
and the Constructors' Championship then looks like SimPlay Racing 74 points clear of the Red Line Junkies. BSP Esports RP3 with the Naval Racing Team P4. Dan Seb Racing RP5 with Fat Bloke Bandits P6. Team FBR P7. BSP Racing P8. Team SPR P9. We've got the Xbox Industries Racing now with Matt Wright and then O'Brien as well out there on the track, and Greasy Bandits Racing of Alex out there as well. Paul Alex, obviously Alex Powell, for those who remember him from a few seasons ago. Kaz Cloud, hi all, hiya Matt, I'm here supporting my boy Ed. Now is that Ed Blackmore, or is that's I assume Kaz Cloud, that is Clouden's mum. So Edward Scissorhands, hopefully she had enjoyed that one. Clouden did say that she'd get a good giggle out of that, so hopefully we've provided the entertainment there, and assumed by Cloud in the username, that is for Clouden then. So yeah, great to see. Gary Leach is in the lobby, and McGowan is also now in the lobby, so we are only expecting the overtaker. I do believe it was 23 drivers who had registered for tonight's race. Let me just take a look. Yep, was 23, so it is only the overtaker that is missing from this race. Obviously, if he isn't able to attend this race, he will then have to serve that qualifying ban next week at Catalonia.
probably a bit better track to serve at than St Ethan, because at least it's a bit wider.
A bit more well known as well.
Well, yeah, because all our hot stints are set there. And
not just that though, but I spoke about this with Dan last night. How much of being a foreign driver that you may not know this circuit? You know, like we said, British GT, British, touring cars, British superbikes. Apart from that, there's not many other big events that go off here at Snetterton.
Well, back in the 60s, it used to be Formula 1 here.
Yeah, but that's the 60s. None of these are from the 60s.
Very different layout.
It's how many of these, foreign drivers that's non-British may be feeling, the struggles tonight.
Yeah, unless they got a channel about in and Jules Goon on. If you remember last season when British GT came over, loved the British circuits, didn't he?
He did. Valentino Rossi said he'd like to race here and at Alton as well.
Yeah, he wanted to race, but it looked like he might be concentrating on WEC next year. So, but then if it don't clash with World Endurance,
why not come and give it a go, even if it is just as two one-off events. So Ian McGowan's done a time. He's up into P12. Matt Wright yet to set a lap time. He's coming to the end now. 54 seconds to go. The man who's really got good knowledge around here, and he's not actually on the most successful list. He had great pace the other day as well, but he's this man, Gary Leach. Knows this track like the back of his hand. He's not far from it, being in Suffolk. It's his local circuit, and we always seem to see Gary go well around here. We always seem to used to see Gary do really well. He's actually never had a pole or a win, but you could bet your bottom dollar he'd find a way to be on that podium. He only needs 3 podiums for 100th, so we can't get that tonight. Obviously, GT4s was another case where he could have got that. Just fell short, was 4th a lot of the times in GT4s this week, just gone. That track knowledge is going to be important tonight, isn't it? Because that's going to be partly key to getting around this place, because it's not all about how quick you are. It's sometimes about how consistent you are around here.
Yeah, well, consistency, same with any circuit, really, isn't it? Keeping it on the black stuff, not making mistakes, or throwing it in the wall, or just putting a tyre on the gravel. Because, well, most British circuits punish you, especially the curbs here. I've got a wonderful picture of Jason Plato launching himself on the curb at Nelson.
For those of you who don't know who Jason Plato is, he's a British touring car champion. One of the greats, has the second most race wins as a British racing driver after Sir Lewis Hamilton. As Gary Leach rounds the final corner. Good evening to the old Sim Racer in the chat. Will be interesting watching the pros to see if they can overtake you. We had a few trains last night, but it was great fun. Really tight track. Good evening to Fury's granddad and Chris, Ben's father. Used to live near Snetterton. My dad was in the RAF. We lived at Marham. I'm going to assume that's pronounced. That was 28 years ago. And now he's down by Thruxton, I do believe. Good evening to Peaceful Stepdad as well. We hit that 1 milestone on Tuesday night, 800 subscribers. We gained another 5 last night. Guys and girls, everybody, please keep on subscribing to the channel. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your colleagues. Get subscribed to the channel. We want to try and be as close to 1,000 as we possibly can by the end of the year. I don't think we're going to quite get that 1,000 mark, but we want to be as close. We've got, 7 weeks still to go. We've got tonight and then the next 6 weeks after this still to go in the championship, plus a possible fun race coming. Whether that is streamed or not, we'll see at the end of the season. And we've got the finale of the Endurance Championship a week on Saturday, which is at Bathurst. It's 4 hours long, and there is rain around, so it's going to be an interesting one to keep your eyes on. Obviously, keep your eyes out if that will be streamed or not. Not quite sure who we are waiting on here.
No one?
Everybody has crossed the line, so normally we'd be getting ready to go straight into the race, but it's given us a full countdown, so I'm not sure why.
Invisible car syndrome? Who's invisible? Come on, who's ghosting everybody?
Well, let's see what happens around this circuit then.
Well, at least everyone's going to have a pit garage, because once you go over 28, people will be go inside the same pit boxes, because it's like with the touring cars, you get like the lower teams down in the paddock. Oh, now we're on the dummy grid. There is a car missing there. That must be Overtaker's grid slot. who's not
Where
here
is the
tonight.
car missing? Yeah, near Skunky and Harris. Yeah, that would be Overtaker that should slot in. He's yet to arrive. He will have that qualifying ban, as we said, going into the second race. And well, at the moment, who will be able to do what in this championship? Skunky's been really on a mission, hasn't he? O'Reilly's been on a mission to close that gap down to Dan, and he's doing so.
Yeah. He's doing the same also in the GT4s, isn't he? So, hunting everyone down slowly but surely.
Yeah, he is indeed. As we then are about to get ready to go racing here for the first time tonight. Don't forget, 2 races coming up at this fantastic circuit here at Snetterton.
30 seconds.
As we get the 30-second timer.
I missed the old layout before they built all the infield.
I think it's better. So I saw the pictures last night. I think this looks better. Let's get in, though, to that reverse grid for this evening. And as we can see, it is round 10 here at the Pro Circuit. It is P. Ledger alongside Rasmussen on the front row of the grid. The second row is Diz, followed by Gary Leach, with row 3, that being Sky Schundelmeyer and Edward Blackmore. Row 4 is Mike Matthews and Pedro Viana. Row 5 will be Paolo and Darren Yo. Row 6, that of Ben and Edward Scissorhands Jamal Clouden. 13th for Emmanuel Machado and Ian McGowan going from P14, with Ian McGowan and Matt Wright in 15th place. Michael Eckholt and Michael Harris will go from 17th and 16th. Obviously with Overtaker missing on the grid, that leaves Skunky and O'Reilly. And Dan Davis alongside O'Brien, but I think obviously with everybody being bumped up one, Alex won't be up the back on his own. He will be up one more spot. And that then is your grid order for Snetterton week. It says round 10, but that's round 11 of the championship there. And our fantastic graphic there for the grid order made by our very own John Gooday, Pro-Am driver. And great to see the graphic. The graphic's been took to very well. A lot of people have said a lot of good things about the graphic, and that's been really positive to see. And here,
You had a very similar one back on Project Cars too, didn't you?
yeah, that Plova did like a Formula 1 style one, but that was more for the championship order, wasn't it? If you remember the championship running on the grid. But it's great to have. It's great to just have another feature and another graphic on display here. Right, let's get into the 2 new drivers then. So we know one of the returning faces at the back of the grid. That is Alex Powell. Here he is in his green Greasy Bandits Racing Aston Martin. Now the other one is Fraser O'Brien, and that then is the white and black Ferrari 296 for the XIR GT team. The XIR is Xbox Industries Racing, and it's great to have one new driver and a returning face back on the grid. Alex, no slouch here at SimPlay Motorsport. It's going to be fascinating to see what he can do and to see who's going to get out of this. But Phil, who is the man that you're going to go for the race win tonight?
What, commentate curse? You know, Gary's sitting P for 4 on the grid.
Yeah.
Especially if he's got the car hooked up already. He won't have his drivers on the grass on the back straight at the moment, and down the Bentley straight.
Is that who you're going for then, Gary Leach?
Gary, yeah.
I kind of want to.
Yeah, but then again, though, Ledger a couple of weeks ago said, please don't curse me.
Yeah, Ledger did say, please don't curse me. I'm also looking at the likes of Mike Matthews over in P7. He had a bit of pace. He finished P4 in that practice session. I'm going to do it. We're going to go a double shout for Gary Leach. It's hard to look past the man who knows this circuit so well. Although, I thought he was down the order, and he's not. He's just trying to come through as he's getting now side by side. Don't rule out... who is the white behind? Oh, that's the Diz, sorry. Got confused there with Diz and one of the Pedro Viana and Machado cars. Obviously, Diz running in the Fat Bloke Bandits. Very similar. Very similar. The difference in the green, I think, is the subtlety, and I just got it wrong. Rob Smith, Blackmore's home race tonight. So there we go, another home race for another driver. So Ed Blackmore lines up just behind Gary Leach. So what can he do as Ledger rounds the final corner? Rasmussen had a good debut, though, didn't he, the other week? So let's not rule out Rasmussen. He's already got a 3rd and a 4th to his name. Wasn't here last week, sadly. But he's already had a good couple of results to his name as well, Phil. So he could be one to keep our eyes on. But as we are now heading down the start line for race 1 of the evening, No overtaker in this first one, so he's going to lose out more points as well. But we are green and go, and who gets the best of starts? It isn't that of Gary Leach. In fact, he's coming back from a long way to go side by side with Diz as Ledger and Rasmussen are going side by side into turn 1. Gary turns in, nearly gets greeted by that door of the BMW. Now Schundelmeyer's having a look in the background as well as Ledger manages to get away at turn 1. Gary switches back underneath, drops it up the inside, and a thank you mama for the carrots. Early doors for Gary Leach may have even opened the door for Sky Schundelmeyer as they come in towards Palmer's now for the first time. Through the left-hand kink they go, and Schundelmeyer tucks back in and underneath the back rear of Diz. Edward Blackmore backwards and at the Wilson hairpin. Who is that with? That is Michael Eckholt. He is with as well. So possibly an incident there between them two. But Gary Leach but Patrick Ledger already got the perfect start, Phil, as they head down towards Agostini.
Yeah, well, I tell you, the manufacturers championship is very interesting between Ferrari, Ginetta, and BMW.
Gary Leach coming under a bit of pressure now from Diz. Now that's opened the door for Schundelmeyer to have a look up the inside in towards Williams onto the Bentley straight. No Bentleys this week as Schundelmeyer cannot get his way through, and that's going to allow Mike Matthews to have a look as well here at the moment. This is on board with Mike Matthews so far, sitting and looking at steering input as they come down towards the tricky Brundle and Nelson section of the circuit, and Mike going to find it difficult to overtake from there. Darren Yo's up to 7th, Matt Wright is 8th, Pedro Vienna from Jamal Clouden. Then it is at Machado with McGowan, Michael Harris, Skunky. Dan Davis has only worked his way up to 15th place ahead of O'Reilly. Paul Alex has gone with him. Fraser O'Brien as well, and then it's Eckholt, Blackmore, Paolo and Ben down the order, so not a good start for Ben yet again here, but already the top two Ferraris started to pull away, and a bit of a train forming behind Gary Leach at the moment.
Yeah, there's a good 2-second gap between the two Ferraris at the front. I mean, Gary in his Porsche. Yeah, it is a good 2 seconds actually now.
Down in towards Rich as they come. Clouden was having a look there on the back of that of Pedro Vienna. He's in that Naval Racing Team sandwich at the moment, looking up towards the Wilson hairpin. Nobody really making any moves as we go back down. That's McGowan having a look on the back of Machado. Dan Davis still sat pretty in 15th, and this is the problem for Dan, to come from the back of the grid, Phil, on such a tight circuit. It's got to be a patient game tonight.
Although as soon as that pit window opens, boom, straight in. That's also a very viable option right now. Ooh, someone's lagging behind.
Further forward, that was McGowan having a look up the inside on of that of Machado. Didn't get to work there. Gary still now 2.3 off the leaders in this race at the moment. He's still got Diz behind him, and this was the problem we saw in Pro-Am last night, Phil. There was a lot of trains forming without moves happening. And what has happened? Oh, I thought something had happened to Mike Matthews, but it obviously hasn't.
Has the Porsche got better traction out of Williams than the Bentley straight? If you start braking pretty much under the bridge, if not you unsettle the car. Don't touch that curb.
Diz got mighty close to the back of Gary Leach here. Darren Yo's now just starting to drop off the back of the four in front. There is, like you say, there is an almighty train here, which is just allowing O'Brien to get on the back, Eckholt as well to gain. Well, what has happened to Blackmore again? He's now dropped to the back of the pack, Phil.
Yeah, has he had another spin yellow? That car does not look happy. Gone through the S's into the bomb hole.
No, it didn't look very compliant, did it there, as we're on board with Mike Matthews, close to exit to Sky Schundelmeyer. Jamal Clouden has got himself past then Pedro Vienna. In fact, Vienna's made a mistake somewhere because he's lost out to Clouden. He's lost out to Machado, who's got a slide on the rear, and so does Vienna now, as they both, Naval Racing Teams, a flash of the lights from Machado there. I'm not sure why. Got it all out of shape on his own, and there's a bit of argy-bargy. That's one of the Viennas, that's one of the Naval Racing Team around. Harris has also gone with them. O'Brien's got a massive slide on through the final couple of, through the Wilson hairpin, and then there from Machado as well. He's just made contact with Harris as O'Reilly's gone into the wall. Absolute chaos. Dan Davis got through all that, as did Skunky, and as did Paul Alex as well. It looks like Paul Alex has got past Dan, so maybe Dan got caught up in a little bit.
But that just got very, very messy. Pit window opens in 27 seconds. So, yeah, so Edward Scissorhands got through there okay. Yeah. Jamal Clouden.
Well, it all seemed to happen behind him at the moment, and Machado flashed Jamal, but I'm not sure why, because he went through turn 1. There was no contact, and Machado was behind Jamal Clouden at the entry into the first corner. So not quite sure what that was all about. But either way, yeah, that is what it is. Pit window has opened up though here. And Ledger has got Rasmussen, who's got fastest lap of the race, gaining on the back of him, down in towards the Murray's left-hand corner. One of the trickier sections of this circuit here at Snetterton. Then, and everybody at the moment going to stay out on the track. It doesn't bode well, we saw last night, to pit early doors in this first race, as Darren Yeo and that of Diz are both going to come in. Now, what has happened further back as well, because Ian McGowan's dropped back a little bit. There is damage here. Dan Davis going to stay out. That is wise from Dan, I reckon. We saw last night how much he got caught up into the traffic by boxing early, and there is a ton of cars already in the pits, Phil.
Yeah, O'Brien's in, Daz's and Diz's stops are done. Has Daz jumped Diz? No.
I was just thinking the same thing. No, Daz a little further back than Diz. Vienna's done, O'Brien's done, Machado's done, O'Reilly's still in there, Ben is done as well. So here we go then.
O'Reilly's
but it's
repairing damage.
Yeah, it has to be. It's already 0.4 of a second now out front. Gary's got that bit of a cushion now that Diz has pitted. Mike still keeping the pressure on the back of Sky Schundelmeyer. Skunky's trying to stick with Paul Alex at this moment. Dan Davis and up a few places due to them early stops. Just see his car sliding around there on the back of of Ian McGowan, who's just got damage to the front of his car. Paolo's got Harris for company as well down the order. And Fraser O'Brien at the minute trying to be on the back of Emmanuel Machado. But so far, Rasmussen, who's actually having a look now up the inside in towards Brundle and Nelson. Brave. You have to be brave to get the move done there.
Can be done, though. I've seen it done many times.
Can be done. He's got the good run on the exit, though, and out to Nelson, in towards the bomb hole now. Side by side nearly. There you go. This is Rasmussen and Ledger. Rasmussen backs out of that, and we'll let Ledger carry on his merry way. And that could have ended badly there, but between the pair of them, they managed to get it sorted. And around they come through, then start another lap. Schundelmeyer trying to stick with Gary. Mike Matthews is with Schundelmeyer as well. Could be a good result for Mike and for Gary Leach tonight, who all stay out. Mike Matthews comes in, so he's deciding to box. And I'm not sure whether that's the right thing or whether Mike should have kept going there. He's obviously looking for the undercut, isn't he, on that of Sky Schundelmeyer, but it just depends on what traffic he's going to come into, because look at where Mike is. He's in the pits, not yet gone green. There's a few cars coming through the back of the circuit. Dan Davis round the outside of Richie's on that of Ian McGowan. Lovely move from Dan, and that is job done. Somebody's just ran onto the grass a little bit. Think that was Darren Yeo. Was that Darren Yeo? No, that is Rasmussen, who's lost out. He's gone from second place. He was wide at Wilson, saw the dirt being kicked up, and that is Rasmussen, who is now down into 4th, 5th place. And what has happened there? So Gary Leach now on the podium. Where did Mike Matthews feed out? Well, he's fed out with Diz just behind him. Diz has messed up the Wilson hairpin. It used to be called Montreal. Darren Yeo now has got that of Skunky just behind him. Car 28, stop go penalty. Blackmore's Knights going from bad to worse.
Yeah.
Sky
That happens at your local circuit, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does indeed. Sky Schundelmeyer's on the back of Gary Leach and coming down towards the Brundle and Nelson corner then. In towards the chicane they go now. You just see Sky. Gary got the first part of that wrong, because he was very slow into Nelson. Sky's really caught him up here. Sky's having a look. Again, you've got to be brave to get it done through the bomb hole and into Coram. Not really the place to be overtaking cars through this part of the circuit. You're sort of setting them up for that turn 1 area. This is on board with Schundelmeyer though. You see Gary Leach in front, and Schundelmeyer just nearly getting close to the back of Gary Leach here. As they now come down, is Schundelmeyer going to think of pitting? No, he doesn't. Stays out on the circuit for the time being. Matt Ryan stays out. Rasmussen stays out. Clouden's going to box. Alex is going to stay out on this race. McGowan's going to come in. Dan Davis is back behind McGowan. He's down in 9th, so he's had a problem somewhere, has Dan Davis. He carries on out on this lap, as does Paolo. So Dan Davis dropped back a little bit. Darren Yeo's now got Skunky. Skunky didn't repair his damage in the background. Look, you just see them scuff marks on the front of his car. And Darren Yeo, not a bad race so far. He's obviously going to pick up the place of McGowan and Clouden. In fact, McGowan's jumped Clouden in the pits here. Has he jumped in?
Inside each other.
No, they're inside each other. Right, I'll let you keep your eyes on that one. Tell us what happens as Darren Yeo and Skunky come through. We're on with Machado, who's on the back then of Michael Eckholt. There is Clouden coming out and feeding out onto the circuit there. And Clouden gets jumped by that of Pedro Viena then. After all the mishaps that happened, Rasmussen still on the back of Matt Wright and Sky Schundelmeyer still on the back of Gary Leach.
Yeah, and fastest lap now goes to Alex. Paul Alex has now just set fastest lap in his Aston Martin, returning back into the Aston Martin. It was a Matt Black last season.
It was indeed, as the race control tells us we are halfway through the race. Blackmore's in for that stop-go penalty, and O'Reilly currently now sat in the pit lane. Gary Leach still out there on the circuit. The bonus for Dan is he's got 8 seconds till Alex Powell. Till Paul Alex. Got to get used to not calling him what he used to be called on the channel. So Dan's got to get 8 seconds in front, so he's got time to really build a bit of space through this part of the circuit. Tibbs probably watching one of the best drivers around this circuit. He's probably going to be able to pick up some lines and braking points around here because Gary Leach is good at Snetterton, although he's gone a little wide out the final corner. And are they going to both box? Sky Schundelmeyer is going to come into the pits. Gary Leach does not, neither does Matt Wright or Rasmussen. What about Alex? He stays out on the circuit as well. Dan and Paolo to go. A stop-go is cleared for Edward Blackmore. What about Dan Davis? Dan still out on track. Gary does lead the race, which means Ledger has pitted. Paolo is also going to... No, Paolo's come in. And we're now with Mike Matthews, who is net 4th place before the pit stop. Sky Schundelmeyer is exiting the pit lane. Ledger's already out. Schundelmeyer, has he got out ahead of Mike Matthews? There he is. You can see him on the left-hand side of the circuit now. Here comes Mike Matthews. You cannot cross that white solid line. Schundelmeyer comes out the pits ahead of Mike, but it is as close as it was before they pitted.
Yeah, so the undercut definitely didn't work this time round for Mike, because he's back looking at the rear of that Porsche again.
He is indeed. O'Brien now has the fastest lap of this race, and it's Matt Wright who's half a second off the back of Gary Leach, so there's no respite for Gary here. No matter which way he looks, there's always pressure. Not no more. Matt Wright got on the outside on the outside part of the grass at Oggies, and that spits him out into the wall, and across the grass he goes to rejoin onto the circuit. Who's out behind Paul Alex? That is Edward Blackmore, who's a lap down, but Skunky still pressuring Darren Yeo. Mike Matthews pressuring the back of Schundelmeyer. McGowan trying to pressure that of Clouden. And then you've got Machado with Eckholt and Harris and Fraser O'Brien in the background. They're all looking at each other at the moment, but it is Gary Leach who leads this race. Could probably get one more lap in here, Phil, before he has to pit.
Yeah, he'll have one more lap, though. You know, they're doing what, 146s, 147s?
Yeah, roughly.
So yeah, he's definitely got time for one more lap.
He's definitely got time for one more lap. He's going to stay out for one more lap. Matt Wright is in. Alex stays out on circuit. What about Dan Davis? He will also have time for one more lap, and he's going for that one extra lap here then. Mike Matthews still on the back of Schundelmeyer. Skunky's now got ahead of Darren Yeo. Yo-yo in a bit here and there. Here's Darren. And it's going to be interesting to see what he can do for the rest of the night. Michael Harris just running a little wide there. O'Brien looks like he's got a bit of lag in the background. Skunky then is ahead. But what about Mike Matthews? There is Rasmussen. So Rasmussen jumps back in front of Sky Schundelmeyer then after his moment early doors. Jumps back in front. Schundelmeyer's going to look up the inside though of Rasmussen in towards the hairpin. This is watching from Mike Matthews' view. Sky Schundelmeyer up the inside. Rasmussen turns in. If he can keep it around the outside, he'll have the inside line going into Palmer's. He hasn't been able to though. And Mike Matthews is now going to try and hang it around the outside of Rasmussen at Palmer, but you're not going to do it around there. Tries to look underneath, gets a wheel on the dirt. And now Schundelmeyer can just start to pull away from these two. Great move, Sky Schundelmeyer.
Yep, haven't seen Tracy in chat yet, so... But that was a brilliant move by Sky. Very brave.
Knew that he was on the better tyre, didn't he? With it up to temperature and pressure, and managed to just put the work in. So 3 drivers yet to pit. Dan Davis with that clear air now has the fastest lap. We're watching...
Sky's gone deep in Oggies.
And that's allowed Rasmussen up the inside at Williams here. Then Rasmussen going up the inside of Sky Schundelmeyer at Williams. He's going to have a slower exit. That Ferrari a bit quicker than the Porsche in a straight line. Mike Matthews has just dropped off the back of these two a moment. And Sky Schundelmeyer defending that inside line. Coming into Brundle and Nelson. Has Rasmussen got the minerals to go around the outside? No, backs out of that one and thinks better for another day. Sky's over the grass. Bouncing. Rasmussen has to avoid the back of him. That's put him in the path of Mike Matthews. And Rasmussen up the inside of the bomb hole. Mike Matthews through at the bomb hole. What a set of moves!
Yep, and we got one of the... Is that Diz? Yeah, it is Diz. Diz is on here as well.
Yeah, Diz is in the background. Gary Leach is exiting the pits.
Mike's deep.
Here comes Ledger, just watching Ledger pass. Gary, there's Diz who's off. Mike went deep, so now that's going to allow Schundelmeyer through. Gary is off the limiter and has got out in front of Rasmussen. Then Alex is also... No, he hasn't got out in front of Rasmussen. Gary's losing out. He's lost out to Rasmussen. He's lost out to Mike. He's lost out to Tibbs. Where's Dan Davis in all of this? He is just behind that of Pedro Viana. So Dan Davis up into 12. Pit stop, the overcut didn't really work for him. Definitely didn't work for Gary Leach. And look at Diz, who's about to make a move further up the order on that of Vienna, but can't, on that of Darren Yeo, but can't do so at the moment. So Mike Matthews messed it up, but Ledger, great start. He's out front, checking out at the moment. Alex Powell up to third place. That's great. Rasmussen up to second, though, and Mike currently sat on the podium in third.
Yeah, but Alex really capitalised doing them pit stops.
Yeah.
Because he's in front of right and behind Gary.
Evening to Paul Williams, who says he's a little late to the action, but I guess there has been no drama. There's not been too many dramas, but the big drama is look how close this field is, Phil. They are so tight here. Gary Leach now coming under pressure from that of Alex Powell, just drops a wheel onto the grass. Then you've got Matt Wright, then you've got Skunky, a bit of breathing space, and back to Darren Yeo, excuse me, who's got his own train. Alex, looking to the outside, coming down towards Brundle and Nelson here for the 8th time. Gary Leach will have that inside line. Alex is surely not going to go and do this around the outside of Brundle and Nelson. Tucks back in, just behind though, they're side by side. That is Skunky and Matt Wright. Skunky's off. Where is Darren Yeo? Can he get through on Skunky? Yes, he can. So can everybody up to Dan Davis. Dan... I think Dan just avoided there, but I don't think it was much in it. I think Skunky was a bit further back than it looked on our cameras, but that puts Dan up to 11th place. Darren Yeo now running up in P8. The Team SBR boys are having a better week this week than they did last, but Alex Powell is hunting down the back of that Porsche.
Yeah, and Gary's Porsche looks really loose on the rear, but then again though, its engine's there, so it kind of is. Please, I'll have a look on the inside of Richie's. Thought better of it.
Yeah, thought better of it. Gary Leach, he's gone a little deep through Richie's, and that's going to allow Alex to look up the inside in towards the Wilson hairpin. Then not a lot Gary can do around here. Alex hasn't gone alongside, and Gary went deep. And is this going to invite Matt Wright through? No, it isn't. And Gary Leach, who was sat a net second place, is now down into 6th. And look at the train behind Darren Yeo. There is all the way down to Harris in 16th. One mistake here, Phil, and you're just going to tumble down these standings.
Yeah, that's how close pro is, ladies and gentlemen. Well, yeah.
O'Reilly. Apologies, O'Reilly is not having a great night tonight. He's down in 21st, just behind Scissorhands himself, who is down the back of the order. Schundelmeyer is trying to stick with Mike. Mike just doesn't have an answer at the moment for that of Rasmussen out front. Ledger checked out up top, though. He's having a great race. Seeing Schundelmeyer back to his best. We've not seen him this good so far this season.
No, and well, you think all the disruption Florida's had lately.
Yeah.
So that's kind of hurt testing time.
Darren Yeo going well in P8 at the moment. You're just looking at the cars behind him. Difficult to overtake, and this is what Dan Davis is finding out at the moment. This is looking on board with Dan Davis. Into Brundle and Nelson he comes, look. And if we just go on the dashboard camera there's just not a lot of room for Dan Davis to get through. Drops down the bommel, but you're not really going to make that move into Coram. He has a look, but you just see him get off the throttle. That door's open though, and I'll tell you what, he's not going to get an easier place than that, because Pedro Viana just understeered wide, and the door was there for Dan.
And Skunky's got round as well.
He has got round. Trying round the outside of Murray's down the start straight. He'll have the inside line coming into Richie's corner. We're on the final lap of this race, and there is drama no matter which way you look at the moment. Here comes Skunky, still side by side with Vienna. Into turn 1 they go, and Skunky up the inside as well. Lovely bit of driving, but now Machado's trying to come back. The one naval team that lost out to the Red Line Junkies, the other one gains, because Machado up the inside of McGowan at the Wilson hairpin.
Yeah, well, it looked like first race, Team SBR is going to outscore the main team again.
They are going to outscore the main team here at the moment. They did last week, I do believe, as well at Monza. Paul Williams, quality close racing from what I have seen so far, and this is all that we ask for. Love it. And indeed, this is all we ask for, but it's Ledger out front from Rasmussen, Mike Matthews, Sky Schundelmeyer, Paul Alex, with Gary Leach now, then Matt Wright, Darren Yeo, Diz, Dan Davis, then that of Skunky, Pedro Viana, Machado, McGowan, Harris, O'Brien, Ben Echo, Paolo O'Reilly, Clouden and Blackmore. Blackmore, who's nearly a lap down, but as we come back towards the Pedrick Ledger, then he's just rounded Brundle and Nelson. And what a time this is going to be for the young man, yet to take a race win at SimPlay Motorsport. We enjoy crowning a new race winner. He's not been on the podium so far this season, but here at Snetterton for round 11 of the championship, he's got one corner to go of Murray's. He's not put a single foot wrong, and it is going to be Patrick Ledger who will take the first win of the evening here at Snetterton. That is a very, very good drive from the young man. Rasmussen's going to come home for a second place. Lovely job from him. Mike Matthews back on the podium after quite a while off it. That is P3 for him. Sky in fourth, Alex fifth, Gary Leach 6th place. From then Matt Wright, Darren Yo, Diz dropped down the order at the end, so it was Skunky 9th, Pedro 10th, Machado 11th, McGowan 12th, Harris 13th, Fraser O'Brien 14th, Diz 15th, then it's Dan Davis down in 16th place from Ben, then it's Michael Eckholt, Paolo, and O'Reilly, then Paolo, and as we just await for Jamal Clouden, what happened to Dan Davis at the end of that race? That is going to be the big question, Phil, because he got up a couple of places, as well as Diz dropped down the order, didn't he, very late on at the end as Jamal Clouden finishes his lap, and we just now await for Edward Blackmore to come round. But what happened, Phil, to Dan Davis at the end? That's what everybody would probably be asking.
I don't think I've got enough time to scroll through the replay to get there, because it takes forever to load.
Gary Leach, great result for him. Darren Yo, P8, good result. Sky Shundlemeyer in P4, fantastic for him. Ben down the order in 17th, not so great for him. Or for O'Reilly in 19th place. Paolo was 20th. Not too great from him. Skunky then managed to recover back up to 9th. Good points over his championship rivals in this first one. McGowan come across the line for 12th place. Jamal Clouden down in 21st. Diz was dropping down the order to 15th as Blackmore now comes to the line for 22nd. Matt Wright crossed the line in P7. Eckholt crossed the line down in 18th place. And as we know, O'Brien
hit Diz in the S's.
There we go then. O'Brien finished in 14th and Alex Powell rounded out the top 5. That was the opener to tonight, though. We'll be back in a few moments' time with the second race of the evening. Don't go anywhere. Dan's fault, or... Phil?
Pardon?
Dan's fault, or?
Yeah, Dan's fault.
Oh.
Definitely Dan's fault.
Green light, give us all you can.
Well, it's definitely Dan's fault. He waited for Diz to rejoin. But I won't be surprised if that goes in. I'll tell you, another thing I noticed, that was a Ferrari lockout on the podium.
Yeah. Who was third? Mike. Oh, it was full Ferrari, wasn't it? Yeah, full Ferrari.
Full Ferrari lockout.
Fucking Mike getting third, eh?
I tell you what, he bite your hand off for that one.
Fucking Jesus, I might get relegated. Yeah. Rocks up snap P3, fuck me. Stops Dan's run of being good at these circuits, so and all, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That would have been 3 wins in a row for Dan at Snetterton.
He just couldn't get through the pack. Mate, he probably could have used the Lambo.
Well, you got to think, last year when he won both races, so he was on pole for both, wasn't
he? Yeah.
So that's put Mike from 18th to 11th before drop scores. One result.
Someone is not got a good connection in the server.
O'Brien's lagging like fuck.
Yeah, it's like it's hitting 360 now.
Paolo's connection is orange, but it's never that. He never seems to lag.
No, he don't. But that latency's horrible.
Yeah.
And I'm wired. Well, my PS5's wired. My Xbox.
Oh, he's going to restart everything.
Well, so he is aware that he's having issues. Yeah, it's no, he's just gone and it's dropped to 45.
Yeah, he's just restarting everything. Right, I'm going to run to the toilet.
Hey, bubble boxes.
Night, buddy. Love you, bud. See you in the morning, dude. Is he back in?
Yes.
Nice. Boppy news. Oh, Ferrari's the most bopped. Oh, badly as well next week. Very bad. Bentley Continental -1 for next week. It's barely bopped.
Yeah, but are we actually going to see City again this season?
Probably not. Probably not.
Can I paint the Jag the same colour and use not the Jag, the Bentley the same colour as the Jag and use Bentley instead of that?
Sadly, no.
Fucking easier to drive.
Hypertech won't allow it.
Don't give a shit what he says.
Oh, Harris was meant to be driving BMWs. Mike was fine with it. Dan agreed with Hypertech. We didn't allow John Andrews last year.
That or Ben's doing it on his own then. Or I join you in Jazz in the BM.
It's only a 4-hour race. It's not 6 hours, is it, anymore? Oh, I've lost my Xbox stats. What the fuck? Why is there only one person on it? No. Ferrari's win, 31st win of the season. 3 podiums for Ferrari gives them 125. I texted you last night, didn't I?
Yeah.
Believe I did. What did I put? DJ
Alpine.
Alpine 50th, yeah.
Yeah.
Hi Matthew, I just had a look at the standings. It looks like I haven't received any points from last race monitoring. P2 in the 20-minute. I had my 72 points for given seconds still do. Point system. Mr. Katzen. Who's Mr. Katzen? That is Julius Rasmussen. We have a drop round system. So you're...
Green light, give it all you got.
Let me just double check that. Drop score. Rasmussen. Yeah, he did, yeah. Right. Who's first car out on track? The 112.
It's their fault.
Yep.
That's one.
Turn the game sound down a little bit. Still no overtaker?
Nope.
Okay. 5, 4. Welcome back then, SimPlay Motorsport here for round 12 of the season. It is that time of night where we are going to be into qualifying for this 12th round of the championship, and what a qualifying session this provides to be. We're on board with Michael Eckholt on his outlap at the moment. And once again, a reminder of the championship standings so far. Don't forget, all standings are provisional. Drop scores will be calculated at the end of the evening if you want to keep your eyes on the up-to-date championship standings before we announce them next week. Make sure you follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and if you're not, then join us on the Discord. Dan Davis leads by 45 points to O'Reilly. Skunky now has to get down to 95. Michael Harris is up in P4 with Matt Wright up in 9th place. Overtaker drops to 6th with Max Mulder down in 7th. Michael Eckholt just behind them to in 8th. Ian McGowan, up in 9th place. Machado is 10th. Mike Matthews has gone from 18th to 11th with that 3rd place, so a good result for him. Sebastian Witcher up 12th for Jamal Clouden 13th. Darren Yeo is P14 with Ben in 15th. Pedro Viana from Sky Schundelmeyer. Then it's Tim Venting, Paolo, Gary moving up the order from Ed Blackmore, Diz from Giggle, Daniel, Patrick Ledger with that win, Rasmussen, Cosme, Beasley, Alex, Vakrashin and O'Brien. Constructors Championship looks as follows, and a huge jump for Team SPR in this one, but SimPlay Racing 92 clear of the Red Line Junkies with BSP Esports sat in 3rd. Naval Racing Team just behind them with BSP Racing up into P5. Team SPR have gone from 9th to 6th, up 3 places ahead of Fat Blokes Bandits, Dan Seb Racing, Team FBR, and it's the Xbox Industries Racing and the Greasy Bandits Racing down at the bottom of the standings. Phil, what a race one that was. What a qualifying this is going to prove to be.
Yeah, it was a pretty good race one. Always exciting, that's an accident. Especially when they do 24 hours of TCVs here. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, but how close is this qualifying going to be? Well, judging by Pro from earlier this season, it's going to be a tight one.
Yeah, it is going to be a tight one. We're on board with Michael Eckholt. It's coming down the Bentley straight now in towards the final couple of corners of Brundle and Nelson. You hear him hitting the brakes. He goes under the bridge. Bit late there, though, and he's gone deep. So that's going to ruin his lap time there. He has gone off the circuit as well. So he's going to have to yield that time to the 3:02 behind him, which is Skunky. So we'll ride with Skunky to finish the lap. Round through the bomb hole he comes now in towards Coram. And Eckholt's invalidated his lap, Phil, at a tricky section of the circuit to get out of the way.
Yeah, through the part that flies by really from Williams to the start finish line. It's the rest of it that takes the time.
So here comes Skunky to the line, manages to go a 1:46.1. That ain't a bad banker lap at all, is it? Let's be brutally honest. Where is car 11? That's Mike Matthews coming down the start line. A few others. Ed Blackmore's put a lap time on the board. O'Reilly's a bit slower than Blackmore. Here comes Mike Matthews, goes within 4/10 of that lap time. Sky Schundelmeyer is coming towards the line. What can he do as he moves up the order a little bit? There I see Matt Wright in the background as well. What's his lap time going to be? He goes up into P3. Patrick Ledger, your race one winner, is coming down the start straight, as is O'Brien. We've just gone on board the wrong car because O'Brien has just set a lap time. Car 34, that is Michael Harris coming towards the line now as Dan Davis crosses it to start a lap time. He must have invalidated his first one. And it's with it being a long lap around here, Phil, you do not want to invalidate too many laps. You want to get as many in on the board as you can.
No, because if you look back at GT4s, where you only get 5 minutes qualifying, you literally got the out lap, flying lap, maybe another one if you're lucky, and then that's it. Session's over.
Indeed it is. So here we go then. Who's coming to the line now? That is the 81 of Paolo. Says he's on an invalid, but you don't know whether you can trust that timing screen or not. As to the line he comes. O'Reilly's back out on the track. We're about to wait for the 1-2-3 of Machado, who's really got good track position here, hasn't he, Phil? He's clear.
Yeah, he's got a lovely bit of real estate right now as he heads into Murray's. Oh, I can't find him on the terminal scoring because...
Here he comes then down towards the start-finish line. Emmanuel Machado, P21 at the moment. Towards the line he goes and doesn't set a lap time then. The 3:02 is on an invalid one. I believe that's Mike Matthews. No, it's car 28. And whoever's in front of car 28, so that's Edward Blackmore. Believe that is Jamal Clouden just at the front of this pack with them that of Eckholt. So let's see where Jamal Clouden goes. Up the order, Eckholt into 8th. Blackmore stays where he is. What about Mike Matthews? Does he get any closer? He does get a lot closer. So good lap time there from Mike Matthews. Ben puts it up into 7th. Tibbs now goes up into 5th. What can Matt Wright do? He's going to stay P6. We look for Patrick Ledger, race winner. He's down in 13th at the moment. He moves up into 7th now. Now we're looking for that of not O'Reilly but O'Brien, who moves up into P4. What can Dan Davis do? Here at Snetterton, took pole last season. He's only 3rd place behind his teammate Phil. As Michael Harris tops the timing screens in the Lexus.
Yeah, there's one Lexus at the top. Where is Dan?
Darren Yeo, 16th place. That's all he's going to get at the moment. Pedro Viana, 2.4 off the pole. Goes up to 14th and makes it within 1.4 off the pole. Car 81 coming to line. That's Paolo to finish his lap time.
Yep. So Dan only got into P4 there. 5 tenths off. So it's a bit of more of a spread at the moment.
A nice little spread though as well, isn't it? Machado, the only one to not do a lap time. Alex did say that he would start from the pit lane tonight. Obviously, if he's here then in future weeks, he's obviously going to be able to put lap times in. Only signed up as a reserve for as and when he can race, which is going to be good if we see Alex a bit more frequently again. Here comes Machado to the line. And once again, doesn't set a lap time for us. We're invalidating them somewhere. The 302's coming back around though. That's Skunky, who now needs nearly 4 tenths of a second.
Yeah, to get pole back from Harris.
No.
Nope, nothing.
No, can't do it. Michael Eckholt down in 13th place. What can he do in this one? Bumps up to 5th place. Now here comes Edward Blackmore. Can't do anything about it. What about Mike? Doesn't need a lot to get past Skunky in this session. No improvement for him. Where is then Ian McGowan improves Phil. He's gone up into P3, so he's moved up the leaderboard a little bit. Where's Matt Wright? He's down in 11th place. He pulls over. He's done. Patrick Ledger next. Where can he find a place? No, he can't. Gary Leach down in 13th. Does he find any time? He doesn't. Stays where he is. Rasmussen's coming towards the line. He moves up the order to P11. What about Dan Davis? Needs half a second. Doesn't find a single drop.
Yeah, he's behind his teammate.
He is behind his teammate. Darren Yeo to the line now. 1.9 off that pole. Finds 2 tenths of a second. That's all he can find. Pedro Viana is next up. Schundelmeyer must have had an off somewhere because he's only just coming through now. Car 81 will be next on a valid. That is O'Reilly just in front of him, but I don't think O'Reilly is on that valid lap time just yet.
Machado has got the best bit of area on circuit, isn't he? He's got all this space. Where's he invalidating though? Is it in the Murray? On the exit of Murray?
Has to be on the exit of Murray. It has to be as we're on board with him. We can't see the dot going blue. Has he just
that's too wide.
It's not gone light blue. Well, it's not gone light blue there. We've just changed the cloud and back. It's not gone light blue. So hopefully this time it will keep his lap time in date. And it does. He goes P9. Yeah. So there we go.
P9.
So everybody now finally gets a lap time on the board with just under 6 minutes left. Is this the stage of qualifying, Phil, where they're possibly going to change tyres and put a fresh set of boots on? Oh.
Well, remember, everyone's limited on tyres still, aren't we?
They are. Skunky's just got within a 10th, by the way, now. As Eckholt is up to 3rd. What can Mike Matthew achieve? He now moves up to 3rd place. Really laying down the gauntlet for his teammate there, isn't he?
Does Mike like Snetterton?
Not too sure.
We know he loves Alton Park.
He does love Alton Park. Ledger moves up the order. What can Gary Leach do? He's tumbled down to 17th all of a sudden. And he stays P17. Dan Davis, half a second needed. What's he going to find? Tops the timing screen. Oh. Finds nearly 7 tenths of a second. That is the lap he needed to put together.
There's the pole. And it's a Lexus lockout at the top of the field.
Darren Yeo moves up to 11th place, so he knocks his teammate down another step. NRT Sammy in the chat, good evening to yourself, sir, as we now wait for car 74. That is O'Reilly, who just doesn't have it tonight, Phil.
No, I think he said he's not a fan of Snetterton as well. But he's on P11, so...
Yeah, he's just climbed up the order a little bit, waiting for the 1, 2, 3 of Machado to come through.
As he heads towards Murray's.
Just a little wide again at Murray's. Just noticing there. Just a little wide.
The curbs is quite slippery here. So you don't want to keep running wide there. You're not going to get as much traction.
Well, he's moved up to P8. Dan Davis is just exiting the pits. We see in the background there as Machado comes down the start line. Cloudon's 21st. He is not having a good run of that Mercedes. We said he's not had a great run of the Mercedes all season. Here, it seems even worse.
Well, it's probably even worse that he's got a hole in his finger.
This is true. It's not fun driving with scissors on your hands, and he moves up to 20th place ahead of that of Edward Blackmore. Car 75 now of his teammate Diz is coming towards the line. He goes up to 11th place. The 918 now of... Is it the 998? Sorry, that is Ledger who comes to the line. He doesn't improve. Gary Leach is now 19th. Moves himself up into P14. Finds himself 0.3 of a second. What about Rasmussen, who doesn't really find anything there? Eccles sat in P5 at the minute. Can he knock Mike Matthews down? No. Gets a bit closer, though, to knocking them down. Let's go, Machado, says Sammy. Lexus, it's a naughty beast, says Paul Williams. It is a bit of a hidden gem.
Anyone could have chose it.
Well, there was limitations due to liveries, but yeah, at least 8 people in each night could have chose it. So, Hypertech saying the AMG is horrible with this bop. So, obviously experience from last night. O'Reilly to the line he comes. Nothing there. The 664. I suppose looking at Hypertech's comment there, though, is surely that's how good the Mercedes is, though, around this circuit without the bop. So the bop should just neutralise it.
Put it in the wall. McGowan, no improvement in the Ferrari. He stays P7.
Machado to the line. Darren, sorry, go on.
What has Vermert got here? Let me have a look at the miserable plus 11. So it's not that bad on
huge
weight,
on
really.
the bop. Yeah, no, it's just yeah.
I mean, the M4 gets 18.
Ledge is stopped, so that'll allow Paolo through. Possibly made a mistake, so he's letting Paolo go so he can set up the space for his own run. Is Ledger playing this possibly a little bit cleverly here? Because if we look at him, still a yellow flag. Everybody's got past him. Let the 112 go a bit further, which is Eccles, and then Ledger can have such a good free run down towards the line. Paolo doesn't improve. He does improve. He moves up to 11th. Where's Rasmussen? He's down in 17th. No improvement for him. What about Michael Eccles? No improvement for him. And Ledger, we know, is not on a quick one. What about Mike Matthews now? 4/10 off the pole of his teammate Dan Davis. I'm sure he'd love to make it a SimPlay Racing lockout on the front of the grid. He's had a good start to his night as Mike Matthews. Harris is still in the pits. Here comes Mike to the line. Finds no time there. Neither does Ben. What about that of Machado? That's not Machado, then it was Vienna. He crossed the line, stays 16th place. Matt Wright is all of a sudden down in 19th, 1.2 off the pole. O'Reilly is now 11th. And the next car on a valid lap time is that of Machado. Don't forget, if you are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. We're aiming to get as close to 1,000 subscribers as possible by the end of the year. We got to 800 on Tuesday night. We managed to get a few more last night. And this is going to be fantastic to see what we can do around this place here.
New number, 800.
Yeah.
Right, Dan's now began his flying lap, his final flying lap, with 20 seconds left on the clock.
Not just last night, the whole start of the season for me. Someone put that AMG on the winning constructors, and now I'm where I am now. The car feels completely different to how it did before. Well, it'll be interesting to see what it can do. I think the Bop's made all these cars look balanced. I mean, we've not seen the McLaren be as dominant as Rasmussen Bales then on his final run. What can Ledger do? Currently down in 10th place. Is he going to find an improvement? No, he's bailed to the pit lane as well. Next car will be the 46.
That's Valentino. No, wait, Vienna.
So Vienna 1.2 off the pole. Very tight grid once again down towards the start line. What's it going to be as he crosses it? That is Matt Wright in the background. Vienna moves up the order. Matt Wright in the background. What can he do? He moves up to P8. O'Reilly's down in 12th. What can he put lap time wise on the board? Stays where he is. What about Clouden? He's returned to the pits. The 664 now with Ian McGowan. What is his lap time going to be? Got it a little wrong out of the final corner.
He's invalidated.
He has invalidated. Here comes Machado. Just Dan Davis and the 47 of Fraser O'Brien on his debut week so far. And has Dan managed to once again pull the pole out of nowhere? Machado stays P9. What about Dan Davis? Any improvements in the locker?
If I can hit it off in case.
Well, he's already P1. We don't need to shout tonight. He's already P1. He doesn't find any time there. Fraser O'Brien, though. Could this man take pole? Half a second he's needed in the Ferrari 296 on his debut. Stays P6. A bit premature. Just a little bit premature. So Dan Davis this season, in every qualifying session, bar one, has taken pole. That one was week 3. So where was we at week 3?
No,
Kyle Army, I believe, because we didn't get to do it in the GT4s, did we? And I think that was week 3.
Cracking qualifying by Harris, though, to get put at P2. Cracking qualifying.
Lexus Lockout on the front row. Gary Leach is 17th. Darren Yeo finished 16th. So Team SPR, not the strongest qualifying. 18th for Schundelmeyer. Ben, where's Ben? He's 10th. O'Reilly up in 12th. Paolo 13th. Overtaker not here. So that means his qualifying ban will carry over to Barcelona next week. Skunky on that second row of the grid. P3 for him. McGowan 7th. Bit of a quiet qualifying from McGowan. Clouden down in 20th place. He'll be disappointed with that one. Diz up in 14th. Blackmore 21st. Matt Wright up into 8th at the very end. Michael Eckholt was 5th. Legia was 11th at the end. And then Rasmussen 19th. Not the best qualifying there from Rasmussen, and O'Brien up into 6th place. Good lap from him. Like we said, please hit that subscribe button. We are trying to get as close to 1,000 subscribers as possible, as well as hit that thumbs up button if you are new, and the bell to be notified when we are live. We'll be back live next Tuesday with GT4s and Dan Davis bringing you all the action. Me and Dan will be back in the box next Wednesday for Pro-Am. Myself and Phil will be back in the comms box on Thursday for the Pro Series. While you're in the YouTube channel, go down to our description and check out Design Manchester, producers of vinyl graphics, laser engraved gifts, mugs, printed clothing, and much more, including SimPlay merchandise. Head over to their Facebook page, the link is in the description, as well as check out our other fantastic sponsor, Audiosport, manufacturers of VW Transporter, T4 audio solutions, and styling products. Go to www.audiosport.co.uk or check out their Facebook group. All the links are in the description below.
Right, to helicopter cam for the race start.
Right, Phil, who are you tipping for the race win?
Who wants to commentate first? So I got Gary with it, didn't we? Who wants it? Who wants a curse?
I mean, it's not about who wants a curse, it's about who you think's going to win.
I would like to see Harris win, to be brutally honest. I think FBR needs a win in the stable.
Yeah, they've not had one for a while, have they?
No. Yeah, locked in, Harris. No, it's going to be Gary from the back. We'll head over to Spain next week. Don't know, weather might be interesting because they're having quite a lot of it at the moment. Don't know if it's in the Barcelona region, how far it's from Valencia. I'll have to Google it.
So the poll's gone up for tonight's second race. Get your votes in on who you think will win that one. Obviously, Overtaker not here tonight, so he's going to be another week and no points. His drop score was already last week for him, so that kind of now 2 weeks, you know, you get your drop score of 0, you think maybe you're still in this championship shot. That kind of knocks him out of this championship play right now, halfway through the season. He's already 169 behind. Same for Max Mulder, 171 behind now. So they're going to struggle to come back in that one. But yeah, qualifying ban at Barcelona probably not as bad as here.
No. Though, well, we'll find out, because it's a little bit easier to overtake if you've got the ponies down the start-finish straight.
We know that Mustang has.
But Mustang has, but it might be bopped quite heavily as well, because it's one of the newer cars, isn't it? In the game. Whilst the Lexus is quite long in the tooth.
Yeah, it is indeed. So we come round Coram then, ready to get into Murray's to start the qualifying period. The race sort of 2 here after the formation lap.
22 cars.
Lexus front
21
row.
cars. We've lost someone, have we?
I believe we have, yeah.
Who have we
Schundelmeyer.
lost?
There's no second Porsche on that grid. He's back in, look. He's just got back in.
But it'll be a pit lane start.
But it'll be a pit lane start for him. And here we go then. We are green and go for the second race tonight. It's round 12 of the season. And Dan Davis gets away well there. Pretty decent over Michael Harris. Mike Matthews and Skunky pretty matched as we just dropped down towards Michael Eckholt then. He was side by side with O'Brien, who gets on the grass. A little bit of contact there. Nothing major. McGowan's now looking up the inside of him as we come through in towards the Wilton hairpin. That is now Harris who's losing out then there to Skunky up the inside. Harris will slav that inside line now heading into Palmer. But Dan Davis already getting the early lead. Skunky right around the outside of Palmer, manages to keep it all together. That is a great move, squeezing Harris, leaves that car's width. Harris so coming down towards Agostini, earlier on the brakes than Skunky, but comes back up the outside of Skunky, and that is absolutely fantastic. Who's the contact with?
It was one of the Naval Racing cars.
Yeah, it looks like Matt Wright, I think we saw in the background there, who was around. Schundelmeyer has got going. He's a little far back at the moment, but obviously he's going to try and make up the places in this race. But Dan Davis got away well. Harris now coming under pressure from Mike Matthews, dropping down to Machado. So I wonder if it was Pedro Viana, because he's down at the back of the pack a little bit more. And then was it Matt Wright? I believe it was Matt Wright. He's still up in 8th place. It couldn't have been. No, it was. Not gone through a sector time yet. Kieran Argent, MotoGP has moved from Valencia to Barcelona for this weekend.
Because of the weather. All the circuits.
Where was Kieran Argent last night, eh? Didn't see him around last night, did we? In the chat tonight. What cheat codes is Dan using, says Tech Leader in the chat. Good evening to both of them boys in there. Is Harris now goes a little wide on the exit to Murray's. Mike Matthews is going to come down the start line. He's going to have that better momentum than Michael Harris, but Harris, as Dan looks like he's trying to get some heat in his tyres there, look, just weaving to probably warm them tyres up a little bit. They obviously seem a bit cold. And around the outside, Mike Matthews, can he go? No, he can't. Harris just understeers a little wide, and Mike Matthews tucks back up the inside. That is a lovely move there from Mike Matthews, and up the inside of Harris he goes. Little clip as Harris tries to get back in to place over Mike Matthews, and to stop that of Michael Eckholt. Mike Matthews gets in front still. Now McGowan's having a look at Eckholt, but he can't do anything there. Looks like Gary Leach was having a look on Jamal Clouden, who's had a pretty good start to this race.
Yeah, well, I was just lost in train of thought like normal. Yeah, it's second. Oh, Skunky's closer than a second now, though. Look at that. As they round Hamilton's into Oggies. That's definitely less than a second.
Yeah, that does look less than a second.
Meanwhile, Mike's having a good night. Touch wood. Then find some wood quick. Touch wood. Yeah, everyone touch wood.
Mike. He's just gone on the grass there on the exit to Williams as he comes through. Harris still trying to get on the back of Mike with Eckholt. There's McGowan, O'Brien from O'Reilly, Ledger from Darren Yeo up to 10th. Good start for him. Then it's Diz. In fact, look at O'Reilly. He's having a look then on O'Brien up the inside and towards Brundle. Nope, not going to make the move done there. Gary Leach still on the back of Jamal Clouden with Pedro Viana, Rasmussen. There's Machado, Paul Alex, then Ben, Matt Wright, Edward Blackmore, Paolo and Schundelmeyer, who's going to try and just, consolation points in this one from where he qualified on the grid.
Still about 6 seconds off the back of Paolo. Oh, the lead's back out to over a second now for the race lead.
So Dan Davis 1.6. Skunky did do the fastest lap on the last lap, though. Harris within 9/10. And it is again such a close train of cars down the start straight once more and in towards turn 1. There you go.
Yeah, you put a wheel wrong and that's it. Race over. You just tumble positions because you can't just rejoin in front of the pack.
Through the hairpin now goes Kieran O'Reilly, still trying to get past O'Brien, but he's got Ledger, the race 1 winner, with him on the back. Darren Yeo sat in P10. Quite a good night for Darren Yeo as well. Here comes Diz, who dropped down the order at the end of race 1. Gary Leach and Clouden pretty close together. And Rasmussen in that Naval Racing sandwich at the moment. Ben on the back of the train here. Gary obviously going to want to try and get a little bit closer. You see Rasmussen getting very close up to the back there of Pedro Viana. Really trying to make the best of what he can do in this race. And going to look to the inside line. Can't do it there. Going to try and tuck underneath. No, Viana gets it turned through. Absolutely lovely then. Bit of dirt kicked up from the cars in front. 1.8 now is the gap, Skunky to Dan. These two have dropped the cars out front. 2 seconds now is the gap. Mike's 2.7 behind. Harris is side by side with Eckholt. Eckholt round the outside at Brundle. Has he got it stopped for Nelson? Yes, he has. What a move from Michael Eckholt.
See, it can be done. What a move though, to get in front of the other Lexus.
Great move there from Michael Eckholt. Moves up into P4. Harris down to 5th. He's got Skunky pressurising him. O'Brien, O'Reilly and Ledger are all together. Then you've got a bit of a break to Darren Yeo, Diz, Clouden, Gary Leach, Pedro Viana, Rasmussen, Machado, Paul, Alex, Ben, Matt Wright. They're all in this train here. Behind that of near enough Darren Yeo. O'Reilly's having a look on O'Brien in towards turn 1. Here comes O'Reilly. Not going to do anything there. Down the order though. That is Viana defending from Rasmussen. They're doing a good job about it. Through turn 1 they go. And now that is Ledger, who looked like he was attacking the back of O'Reilly through the Wilson hairpin on the outside line now at Palmer's. Not able to keep the nose there, so Tuck's back in behind for the time being. And through they go now. These trains just between
from Eckholt back.
Yeah. Pretty decent at the moment. That's allowed, with Eckholt passing Harris and Eckholt not being able to drop him, that's allowed Mike to just pull away a little bit.
It has, because Mike's got, what, 2.5 seconds in front now of Michael?
Yeah. Yeah, he has indeed. As through he comes. And so far so good for Mike. At this stage of the day, he's had a good night, hasn't he, so far? 2 P3s at the moment.
He has. I would say he could be a contender for something, but I don't want to jinx him. We know what Mike's like with a pirouette here and there. Tell you what, Alex has fought up to P16 in the green Aston Martin.
Yeah, he really
He's ahead
has.
of Ben now.
Ben's just not had a great night. Back there, Pedro Viana's dropped down to behind Ben. He was just in front of Rasmussen, so something's happened to Viana there, and he's dropped down to 18th place, so I'm not sure what's happened to him. Gary Leach is pretty much pushing Clouden down the straight here. Clouden's going to defensive on Gary Leach in towards turn 1, not quite enough alongside. Rasmussen's now having a look at the back of Gary, so Gary's attacking and defending here. The 2-time Pro Champ going to try and chuck it up the inside of Clouden, but can't do so. Rasmussen's all over the place. Clouden defends from Gary, Gary defends from Rasmussen. And we are as we are, and Gary finds an inch, but taps the back of Clouden, unsettles both cars, and now Clouden gets away with it. Rasmussen's going to look up the inside then of that on Gary Leach, and Gary Leach managing to hang it around the outside of Palmer's. Now here comes Machado, can't get it done. They're still side by side. Gary now tucks in behind that of Rasmussen, and Machado's going to look up the inside of Gary Leach towards Agostini. Gary around the outside, can he hold on to it? They're going to come towards Hamilton. Another bit of door rubbing there between Gary and Machado once again, and Machado can't get through.
No. Well, Gary's got his elbows out, haven't he?
He's got to have. He's gone deep at Oggy's, and that's going to allow Machado to have a run in towards Williams. Gary just on the grass a little bit there through the exit of Oggy's. Now into Williams. Gary manages to bring it back to the apex of the corner, and he's hanging on for his life at the moment.
And look who's on the back of Machado now. Here's Alex. Meanwhile, Diz is having a look this way and that way around Daz. Or Darren Yo. So there's battles pretty much everywhere, apart from the top
4, because if you look at that, I'll say top 3 at least, because Eckholt's still got Harris on the back of him, but it's 2.9 nearly separating the whole from Dan to Skunky to Mike, and Mike to Eckholt here. Pretty much gapping wherever. Skunky's now got the gap over 3 seconds to Mike, and Eckholt's caught Mike slightly. But as we drop back down towards Jamal Clouden here, Edward Scissorhands himself has got Rasmussen right over the back of him. And Jamal, well, he didn't cut his way through the field at the first part of this race, but Rasmussen just gives him a tap up the rear. That's going to unsettle the car and send him wide. Rasmussen now is going to get the run up the inside. He's already got the place done, and I'm sure Clouden is going to be a bit disgruntled with that one, as they're all trying to slash their way through. Here comes Gary Leach, so now to the outside again at Palmer's. He's really trying here, is Gary. Paul Alex has now got past Machado, so that's another move for Paul Alex here. Great stuff from him. And all just such a good fight in this mid-pack.
Yeah, well, someone's got to have a little snip, haven't they? As we were doing scissor puns.
Yeah, I see what you did there. It's down towards Hamilton. They come now out of Agostini through Hamilton. Clouden's lost out to Rasmussen. He's going to have Gary Leach with him momentarily. There's Alex. There's Machado. Then it's Ben, Pedro Vienna, Matt Wright, Blackmore, Paolo, Sky Schundelmeyer, not yet on the back of this pack. But out front, the top 3 really, have just checked out here, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. Again, another good night for Ferrari. Need more Ginettas in GT4.
At the minute, it's going well. Eckholt did pull another 2/10 off of Mike at the moment. Still got Harris within half a second. Then McGowan. There's Fraser O'Brien. Good debut from the young man. Kieran O'Reilly P8. Patrick Ledgers P9. And it's Darren Yeo with Diz a couple of tenths behind. They've had a few battles this season already. Another ding-dong to be had tonight. Then it's Jamal Clouden, who's got Gary Leach and a train of cars behind. Clouden's wide, coming into Coram. Gary Leach side by side through Coram. Clouden tries to squeeze Gary, and Gary sneaks up the inside and through.
Oh, Ben tapped Alex as well behind them.
So Ben tapped Alex, that put him into Clouden, and that's caused chaos behind. But I tell you what, it was a lovely move, cut up the inside.
Yeah, very, very Leach-esque, wasn't it?
It was, and that was touring car style, wasn't it? There's a bit of tarmac, wide enough for my Porsche, through I go.
They have to give me space, racing room.
So Ben's down to 19th place now. Patrick Ledger's on the back of O'Reilly. Harris is still with Eckholt. Eckholt, though, is gaining on Mike.
Yeah. The pit window doesn't open for another 13 minutes. That was very quick, terrible maths by me.
Just dropping down the order. Look at his queue behind Alex. Now Clouden's got to deal with Emmanuel Machado. This is on board the rear wing of Jamal Clouden, looking back from his Mercedes-Benz. And we said that Clouden seems to come alive in race 2 as well. He's been passed by Rasmussen, he's been passed by Gary. He's under pressure.
But he's also probably having trouble shifting gear. Because you do that on the tip of your fingers, don't you?
No, it depends on which finger he's using. As here comes Machado now. Clouden goes defensive in towards Brundle. To the outside goes Machado. Backs out of that one early. And through comes Clouden. Nice and easy. Steady as he goes. Dizzy's on the back of Darren Yeo. That gap looks... It says it's 4/10, but it looks a bit further than that.
That looked about 6-7 tenths?
Yeah, Rasmussen looks a bit closer to Diz than what Diz does to Daz. See as they come across the line. Yeah, 9 tenths, so yeah, it is a bit bigger. Rasmussen's a second behind. How's Clouden going to fare down the start straight over that of Machado in the BMW behind? Alex is with them as well. Into turn 1, Machado's got it tucked underneath of Clouden. Clouden's onto the grass. He's bouncing all over the place. Lost control of the car. And that fence isn't there. You would be into the cornfield like Tom Chilton and Gordon Sheridan a few seasons ago. And that is going to hurt Clouden.
They don't just grow corn in there, they grow everything in there. And it's literally, single seaters just disappear. It's like, where's it gone? That field.
That's Clouden done though, isn't it, you feel now? That's probably his night.
Yeah. walking wounded, trying to get points. Because points mean prizes at the end of the day. Well,
indeed, they do. This is Ledger.
Unless it's on your driver licence. You don't want them on that.
It doesn't, Paul Williams, I couldn't agree more with that the AMG just doesn't seem to favour Clouden. Doesn't look comfortable in it at all. And for Ledger here, he's on the back of O'Reilly. Trying to just get closer. Closer to Daz once again. And that does look a little close now. And he's brought Rasmussen to play as well.
Yep.
Just at an interesting stage of this race though now, Phil.
Maybe some of the cars are going through that phase, you know. The phase where they just don't want to grip because the tyres are grained up a little bit.
Yeah. Completely agree with you. As down the start straight, Daz comes now. So looking back from Darren Yo's car, there is Diz and Rasmussen, as you can see.
That's turns into Richie's. Not really defending yet because Diz isn't quite close enough, and Diz is with us.
Yeah, a full of Rasmussen. If we go on board Diz's rear wing, look, there's Rasmussen. So interesting to keep our eyes on this fight. Harris still hasn't been dropped by Eckholt. Harris is still keeping Eckholt within his sights. They've got within about 2.5 of Mike, but they can't seem to break that mark any further.
No, and Mike's now 5 seconds off the back of Skunky.
Yeah, the top two have just checked out in this race and are gone. The gap between Skunky and Dan has pretty much stayed as what it was. Just dropping down the order, Alex 4/10. He's on the back of Machado. Clouden obviously driving with that damaged Mercedes down the order.
With his damaged finger.
Gary Leach now has got, I think it was his index finger. Gary Leach now has got the pressure of Machado and Alex behind him now.
Yeah. But if anyone could drive like a touring car driver, it's Mr. Leach.
Yeah, indeed it is.
Do you think it's Puckerman?
Race number 375 for Gary Leach here in this race.
I think he's like second behind.
He is second behind Phil. He is, yeah. He's 29 race starts behind DJ Phil. So at the minute, going great guns is Gary Leach. Mike Matthews on 3:13. He'll be ahead of Smokey Devil soon on the all-time list of race starts. Monkey Boy's only 6 away from his 250th. So that's great to see from Monkey Boy. As here we go, look, Rasmussen trying to fight Diz. This is going to help Darren Yo out a little bit here. With these two having a bit of a scrap. Sorry, Phil.
Yeah, it will help Darren to pull away a little bit because Diz is now going to be defending from Rasmussen. As Rasmussen might think about it to set it up coming into Agostini after Palmer's. Unless someone wants to go off and have a pint in Tyrrell's, the bar.
Well, Diz has kind of caught Daz back up a little bit here. On their brakes, in towards Agostini, there you go. Just drop back to Gary Leach. Alex has dropped off the back of Machado a little bit. Harris, oh, Eckholt's wide, through Oggies. Got a little loose as well, so that's put Harris right on the back of him, a little bit closer. And that might invite Harris, who now has his own moment through Williams. And I was just about to say, it might invite Harris to have a look up the inside, up the straight towards Brundle, but not a chance now. That's allowed Mike to get over 3 seconds away from Eckholt. And also Skunky's over 3.5 behind Dan now, so Dan's just checking out.
Yeah, Dan's got fastest lap of the race as well at this phase. I'll have a look, see what that is.
It's Dan from Skunky from Mike Matthews, your top three. This is the battle for 4th place. Just going to drop that down to Diz and Daz.
Dan's done on 1:46.6 as his fastest lap.
There we go then. So Diz at the moment currently just trying to stay ahead of Rasmussen. That also, by the way, gives Dan 3 poles and 2 wins around the circuit, the same as O'Reilly. And obviously we have to add that of Ledger for his race 1 win to the most successful drivers around this circuit, which include the only G, Smokey Devil, NJ, Hitman, Fury, Dan Davis, Max Mulder, Diz himself, Aidan Bennett, Andy, O'Reilly, NLR Andy, Ramsel, Dennis Hansen, Ledger and Dean Wasocki on them list. Regards to what the extreme change in car, your drive does not for some make any difference. Yeah, I just think it's whether a car suits you or not, to be fair, dude, and that's clearly what Cloudham's feeling this season, isn't it? That car does not suit his driving style. As Machado attacking the back of Gary then. Matt Wright is also attacking the back of Pedro Viana. Nothing happening there, though.
Gary's wide.
He is wide. Machado's gone through, just saw that in the foreground. So Gary's wide through Agostini, and that's allowed Machado through. And Harris still gaining on the back of Eckholt here. Mike can't seem to properly drop these guys. Skunky, by the way, has dropped to 4.2 behind Dan. And Mike's now 6.7 behind Skunky. So what are them two lapping compared to Dan? Because Dan is just flying at the moment. In fact, I think Mike's made a mistake, actually. Because Eckholt's within a second.
He's wide again on the exit curve out of a bomb hole into Coram.
So Mike's starting to just make a couple of mistakes. Darren Yo's being given a little bit of respite here. Oh, there we go then, Paul. I did think your message didn't make some sense there, but we got there in the end. Yeah, I agree with you. I think drivers it doesn't help as well when drivers seem to change what car they drive so many times.
I like a front-engine GT3 car.
Diz defending from Rasmussen now, pulls back into the braking zone. Thought Rasmussen for a second was going to have a look, but he followed him through just a little later. And this, look, you're just seeing Daz just starting to pull away from these two. And Mike Matthews has now got Eckholt right with him. That's now 0.4 of a second. So what is happening to Mike here? We know Mike likes to run a low tyre pressure. As he just possibly saw this Richie Michel last night. All them pressure's just probably a little too low. That he's just running a few of the curbs. It's just hurting the tyre.
Possibly, yeah. 5 minutes until the window opens. Well, 4. But yeah, Mike's car's just died, unless he's gone through that graining phase.
Well, he was 3.5 seconds clear at one stage. He's now within 0.4 of Eckholt. So Eckholt's obviously done something right this time around.
Yeah, and Harris has fallen off a little bit off the back of Eckholt as well.
Yeah, he has. He has.
We've got all the Mikes together. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, Mike. We had all the Robs together in the race too yesterday in Pro-Am as well, so that was nice to see. Down towards Diz. Still half a second, it's saying to him and Darren Yo. Just drop back down to that 5 second. Yeah, he's about half a second. Ramsell's just ran over the exit curb through the bomb hole, so that's going to hurt him a little bit there. And through now, they come into Coram. What about Ben? He's on the back of Pedro. A quiet night for Ben. Not one of his best.
No. Maybe he can't get much practice in at the moment because being only a teenager and you've got to do your studying and stuff like that.
Well, he might be given an invitation here to come past Pedro Viana, who was wide out of the Murray's corner. Ben tucks into the slipstream. Can he get alongside at some point? He pulls out to the outside line now in towards Richie's. Gets just alongside a little bit. Viana breaks later, goes deeper. Ben wisely tucks up and goes through. Although Viana had a snap mid-corner there, and that's not going to allow him to fight back from Ben. So Ben moves up another place.
Yeah, up to P17. Maybe he wishes he was back in the McLaren. Again, it's
yes, he was
McLaren
last season, wasn't he? Yeah. It is about driving style. Diz right on the back of Daz, who has a moment coming out of Agostini there. Diz now pushing Daz pretty much through Hamilton. He said he needs a 4-week break like F1 drivers.
What is that, from school or from racing?
Daz now under pressure, just bounces off the curbs coming through Williams. This could allow Diz to have a run on that outside line then towards Brundle and Nelson. They're side by side. They've had a coming together or two this season of Diz and Daz. And in towards Brundle, there you go. Is Diz going to try and hang it around the outside? He has, up the inside for Nelson. That is a lovely move once again from Diz. Great work from him there. And Rasmussen now can't get through.
That was a cracking pass, really. Wasn't it, into the S's and that on exit towards the bomb hole for Diz.
Really good bravery, really good commitment, and you've got to really appreciate both drivers there, because if both of you can't do it, then it could end in disaster. Paul Alex trying to get past Gary Leach in the background, not happening at the moment, but Rasmussen now is going to be on the back of Daz. Daz want to get past Diz as well.
Yeah. I can't see my phone properly.
Don't blame you there, Chris. Schoolwork is far more important,
exactly,
for the future. That's the key thing. Here comes Rasmussen. Still looking on the back of this. Machado's with them. Back down to Mike a second. He's gapped Eckholt slightly. McGowan's coming on Harris here. McGowan and sort of and O'Reilly are just kind of O'Brien, sorry, just having a quiet race.
Yeah. Well, O'Brien's with them now, and O'Reilly is kind of in no man's land. On a bit on his own. Pit window opens in 35 seconds, by the way.
Yeah, it does. Pit window opens in 1 second, doesn't it? No, it is. It's 35 minutes, not 35 and a half. Danny's 6 seconds clear, by the way. Out front, there he is. I believe the pit window will probably open before Dan comes in. He's probably not going to want to pit straight away because of the fact that's probably going to put him in the pack of them fights.
It probably will. Well, he's, 12 seconds up the road from Mike now.
So Dan stays out. Skunky is surely going to stay out as well. Yes. So Mike Matthews could be the first driver to bring it into the pit lane. Let's see if any of the strategies go on here. He doesn't. Eckholt doesn't. Harris doesn't. Neither does McGowan. Neither does O'Brien. I'm just wondering if someone's going to take that risk on an early pit stop around this circuit. O'Reilly's going to pull that risk. The 414 is off. Not sure. Or is that the 454? Sorry, it's the 454 is off. That is Rasmussen, who is rejoining way down the order. Machado, God, in fact, where's Darren Yeo as well? Darren Yeo is also in, as is Gary Leach, as then is Rasmussen. So a few of these drivers just pulling that trigger. Will Clouden decide to box this lap as well? Matt Wright has dropped down to last place as well. So what's happened to Matt Wright?
I don't know. He's now coming in the pits, so... I'll just throw a helicopter cam because there's a better view.
Oh, who's that off? That was, we're on with Blackmore. That's Vienna off at turn 1. O'Reilly's done his stop and is out. Darren Yeo has done his stop and he's out. Rasmussen and Gary Leach came out together. So Gary Leach is, I think, in front there together in the car, and Gary Leach is now in front of Rasmussen on the circuit. Cracking move, says Fat Bloke in the chat. Good evening to yourself, buddy. As Rasmussen looking each way and left and right to get past Gary Leach. That might be Sam. Yes, that's a good point. Dan's been caught by nearly 9/10 of a second this lap.
Has he made a slight little mistake? Oh, go back to camera 2, please.
Well, Eckholt's on the back of Mike Matthews, like really on the back of Mike. So this is going to be crucial here to see what's what. But Mike Matthews at the minute just coming under pressure. Dan Davis as well. Obviously just maybe having a moment this lap.
Yeah, does Mike come in? Yes, Mike pits. So Mike, the first person on the podium to pit.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if there's certain drivers running lower tyre pressures here that are just being hurt by that tyre pressure. Obviously running the curb, risking that chance of a puncture is possibly going to hurt their tyres around this circuit. Me and Dan said it about Richie Michelle last night, just lower tyre pressures possibly costing a bit of time in the race. Is that's what's happening with Mike here? Dan's obviously now been caught. That gap's now 5.7, so he's been caught a bit. Machado stays out. It was only Ben and Mike who pitted. Mike has came out the pits. He's ahead of Paolo. So he's not got massive traffic in front, but he's got a little bit. It is Sam, so good evening to you, sir.
See, I said it was Sam.
Harris with an 8/10 of Eckholt. McGowan still with them. Fraser O'Brien has just dropped off the back a little bit. Machado is trying to gain on Diz. Ben pitted and came out behind Gary Leach. In fact, behind Scissorhands himself.
And Clouden has pitted as well.
And Dan 5.4 now, so Skunky gaining a little bit more. Now, I was watching Dan earlier in the day, and I have to say, he was very, very twitchy on his car just to try and nail a lap of this circuit and be consistent. It did look a little, at times, coming through certain corners, you know, like he was having to fight the car hard. whether that's the case at the moment or not, we'll wait and see. But McGowan within half a second now of Harris. And Skunky has the gap down to 5.1 to Dan.
Yeah.
So that gap coming down here.
It is. McGowan's in the pits. He's pulled the trigger. O'Brien stays out. Ledger stays out. There's Diz. No. Macchiato. Nope, stays out. Alex. Yeah, man, no. I'm on a helicopter cam, so I've got no sort of noise. Blackmore stays out as well. So, cool. It's going to be close between Mike and McGowan.
No, McGowan jumped him. McGowan's jumped him in the pits. We're just on board with Blackmore there, and McGowan has jumped Mike Matthews in the pit. So whether the traffic has cost Mike, but he's fell behind Ian McGowan now, who was behind that of Harris and that of Eccles. So what pit stop did Mike have? Did Mike add fuel to the pit stop?
Or did he put a new set of tyres on to change?
I don't know. I don't think he was too long, so I think he'd have been closer in the path of Darren Yeo and O'Reilly. But I think Mike's possibly added fuel there.
Possibly. Again, we could find out, but we're not going to, because it takes away the suspense.
There's no way of finding out now, is there? Because we're not going to be able to see. But at the minute, Dan Davis starts yet another lap time. Skunky's 5.2 with Eckholt now P3. Harris is in 4th. And them two a bit further back from the Skunky, so we're going to see what they do. Skunky was 5.2 behind Dan. He's now 5.5, so Dan's just picked up the pace a little bit. As there goes Eckholt, there goes Harris, there goes Fraser O'Brien, who comes into the pit lane.
Yeah, Sam was saying about pressure loss in tyres.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know, if he wasn't the only one, he's saying as well. So that's what I mean. You know, that pressure. You hit the curbs wrong. Mike missed his pick box and had to reverse, said tech leader. So that's what's cost him in the pit lane.
Yeah.
It's what me and Dan said last night, though, Phil. Going back to Sam's issue there about pressure loss, and he wasn't alone. I said to Dan, you know, is Michelle maybe ran his pressures low and possibly picked up a loss of pressure in one tyre where he started to slide around a little bit? You know, is that the case tonight with Dan? He's obviously found a bit of pace somewhere. Gap's back up to 5.6. But with 28 minutes to go, unless you're changing tyres, that's not exactly what you want to be hearing, that you've got a loss of pressure.
No. Oh, no way. Or a sudden rain shower.
There is no rain due.
I know. We live in hope, though, don't we?
Watching the fight between Diz and Machado at the moment. 0.2 of a second is the gap. Machado right on the back of Diz.
Similar cars. Quite similar liveries. Bit more black on Machado's car, though. And there's a blue on Diz's? Yeah.
5.9 the gap now. Skunky to Dan. And are we going to see any of the top drivers box this lap? There is 3 minutes left, so they'll probably get another lap. I think Dan's in. Yes, he is. The dot goes darker grey. And into pits he comes. I thought he'd slow down quite a bit. That's going to release Skunky into the lead of this race then.
Blackmore. I believe Ed's local to Snetterton. Ooh, he's still holding off Mike. But he does have to pit. Let's hope he don't get a speeding penalty this time round in race 1.
Dan's dropped all the way down to here. Dan's only just coming out now and he's going to fall behind this pack. Man, he got a bit of contact from Diz and Machado there. So Dan's fell right into this battle of Machado and Diz. And that is traffic that Dan wouldn't want to have fell in.
No. But then, Skunky would be in it as well when Skunky pits.
Well, let's wait and see. We don't know what the pit stops was between the drivers.
Schumacher hasn't moved yet.
Hopefully that's not a retirement. Rasmussen
Paolo just jumped Blackmore in the pits.
Oh, there we go then. Rasmussen on the back of Paul Alex here. Darren Yeo just further up the road. Machado's closer to Dan than what he is to Diz now. It's going to be tough for Dan. Dan's going to hope that these two get... Well, they've got to go in this lap. They've got no other choice.
Carlos and Blackmore come it out between Clouden and Ben.
So
and they're right in the thick of it.
They split them two. We'll drop down to them in a moment. Dan is right on the back of Machado, who really got close to Diz. If that's going up the inside, he's cut the corner. They've come together, and that's going to allow Dan through. Day late, dollar short from Machado there. Little silly. Dan's at Paolo fight, and they say, look, they've split Clouden. One either side. So Skunky, the question's going to be is how much time has Dan lost compared to Skunky? Skunky's already gone green. So we're on board with Dan. Is Skunky going to be off the limiter?
He is now.
So he's off the limiter now. Dan. Here comes Dan Davis. There is Skunky. Skunky's jumped him. So did Skunky have the quicker pit stop? Did Dan have a longer one? Or was it the traffic that's held him?
We don't know. But the battle was on.
The battle is on. Skunky, remember, did Dan at Laguna Seca. And now Skunky's got to do it again. Can he now fend off from Dan, who started to struggle at the end of this race? Harris has got up into P3. He's jumped... Michael Harris and McGowan and Mike have jumped Eckholt in the pits.
So has Eckholt put fuel
So
in?
has Fraser O'Brien. So O'Reilly's closer to the back of him. So Eckholt's dropped down the order. Harris now up to third.
Tibbs has left the session.
Tibbs has left the session then, so that will be a retirement for Sky Schundelmeyer in this second race.
Oh, someone's off at Richie's. It's for 46, so that's Vienna.
That's Vienna, yeah. He's off. Struggled there all race. Clouden's just got past Blackmore. We just see the end of that one as Vienna rejoins now. Alex trying to get on the back of Rasmussen. Gary Leach in the background. McGowan, though. What a day for McGowan.
Yeah. As apparently Dan missed his pit box as well. What Sam's saying.
Oh, there we go.
Sam, our pit lane reporter.
Did he? He hasn't missed his pit box. He just said bad stop for Dan.
How much did Dan pay him? Pay who?
So Dan, we're not sure if Dan's missed his pit box then. But one thing we know is McGowan trying to get on the back of Harris for a podium. Mike Maffitt, you what, sorry?
Phone screen very small. I have no choice.
Mike Matthews trying to get on the back of McGowan and Harris here. As they come through. Mike would love a double podium. I'm sure he'd take a P5 in this race nonetheless. But Dan 2 seconds behind Skunky. He's got to make that up in this race. I'm sure Dan would take a second place after what happened in the first one.
Yeah, I think last week was his drop score, wasn't it? So far for Dan?
I think so, yeah.
So, can't get any worse than that. Tell you what though, can Harris hold off for Ferrari or McGowan?
Going to be difficult, going to be tough to see. Mike's going to really want to try and gain onto the back of these two and make their own moves. Darren Yeo is gaining now on Diz. Diz, obviously, did he repair that damage that Machado may have gave him after contact at the Brundle-Nelson chicane? They've got Rasmussen and Alex coming after them. But like you say, McGowan, he's a man putting Diz under some pressure at the moment. Harris.
Yeah. Mike's 2.6 off, so... No. O'Reilly, though, quiet night in P8. Considering how bad his race 1 was.
Yeah, very much a quiet night in P8 for O'Reilly. But he's, like you say, better than race 1. I suppose that's the bonus there. So Mike nowhere near behind these two yet. 2.3 is that gap. It's exactly the same gap between Mike and McGowan as it is between Mike and O'Brien. And Dan's 2.5 behind Skunky now, so he's just lost out a little bit more.
Yeah. Field is starting to spread out apart from the battle for the final podium spot. And Rasmussen is about a second behind Yo, who's right on the back of Diz. So this is the closest battle for P10.
Yeah, indeed it is. It's going to be an interesting one to see. We saw in race 2 last night, the field started to spread out. The 20-minute race around here really kept the pack tight. If you do like what you see here, hit that subscribe button, the bell to be notified when we go live, and the thumbs up button as well. We are back live next Tuesday for the week 5 of the GT4s. Obviously, we missed that week of Kyle Omi. Dan Davis will be bringing you the action there from Catalonia. Myself and Dan will be back for Pro-Am for rounds 13 and 14 on Wednesday evening, and myself and Phil will be back for rounds 13 and 14 of the Pro Series next Thursday evening. If you want to follow us on social media, check out the Facebook page, Instagram, and the TikTok pages. Just search for SimPlay Motorsport to give us a follow there if you want to keep up with all the tables, milestones, and everything else. As well as if you want to get involved here at SimPlay Motorsport, do join us on Discord and SimGrid for all information, whether it's as a driver or as a steward, commentator, whatever it may be. Don't forget to put your name down and get yourself involved. Endurance race coming up a week on Saturday at Bathurst. The Bathurst 4 hours will be happening on Saturday, 1 p.m. at 2 p.m. will be the live action from that, provided there's enough cars on the track. If not, then keep your eyes out on the SimPlay Motorsport social media. We'll try and get a few live action pictures of drivers' streams across via that, so you can press the links and watch them there. And as well, if you want to become a Patreon, £3 a month, make sure you get yourself involved. Obviously, you get some fantastic perks. You get to pick a circuit for the next season, you get to reserve a car number, you get to reserve pretty much a spot if you were to sign up for next season as well. So some decent perks. And if you are already in the Discord, put in the suggestion part of the Discord what you think we should look into doing for next season, any changes you'd like to see happen. But the way this race runs at the moment, it is Skunky who leads. Dan Davis fastest lap, but in second place, 2.4 behind. Michael Harris is P3 with Ian McGowan 7 tenths off the back of him. Mike's closing on the pair with him in P5. O'Brien is P6. Good debut for him. Michael Echo, poor pit stop, down in 7th place. O'Reilly is 8th with Patrick Ledger down in 9th. Diz is 10th with Rasmussen now ahead of Daz. That is for 12th and 11th. Paul Alex is 13th with Gary Leach in 14th. Machado P15 with Ben in 16th. Edward Blackmore 17th. Paolo 18th. Pedro Vienna 19th. Matt Wright 20th. Jamal Clown 21st. And we have lost Sky Schundelmeyer from this race. But it's all just quietening down a little bit, Phil.
It is, yeah. It's the final 20 minutes. The closest battle is P3. Because Mike's there. He's going to be within range within a couple of laps, I reckon. And also for P11. Rasmussen's got in front of Daz.
Yep.
So
did just say that as he's coming down the back straight.
Gary wide in the background. Yeah, Dan's within 2 seconds now, so
yeah, just starting to close that gap a little bit as Darren Yo's losing out to Rasmussen. Rasmussen trying to gain on Diz. McGowan's now 9 tenths off the back of Harris, and Mike's under 2 seconds to McGowan. So Mike's slowly chipping away here.
Yeah, he's slowly coming back into it, isn't he?
He'd love a double podium. He'd love a double podium. Would Mike in this race. Skunky P1 at the moment. From Dan, 1.8 now, so Dan's chipped another 10th away. The thing is for Dan is, you know, we say, you know, that catching's one thing, passing is another. That really is amplified at this circuit because we've saw Dan already being a trainer cars not able to get through. So it's all right him getting on the back of Skunky. It's where he's going to make that overtake.
Yeah. Or one of the straights maybe, but we don't know.
So McGowan within 9 tenths. Let's stop back down to Rasmussen, who's on the back of Diz. Dad's going to try and stick with Rasmussen and hopefully just try and get onto the back of Diz as well. Gaps 1.6 between Dan and Harris. Dan and Skunky, sorry. Harris has got McGowan within 9 tenths at the moment. Mike's just dropped out that 2 second zone to McGowan. So that's opened back up a little bit. It's now opened up 3 more tenths. The thing Mike doesn't need to do is overdrive the car and push too hard.
Nope. Yeah, Dan's common, isn't he? Now. No, it's not. I'll be back Patreon after January again. Well, maybe not. Don't know. Depends how Bathurst goes for me. Depends if I smash everything up because I can't drive the cars anymore.
So Rasmussen is on the back of Diz, then coming through to Coram now. And tries to turn underneath him, but can't do so there. Rasmussen going well at the moment, getting on the back of Diz at the moment, just really starting to get in that slipstream of Diz now. Dan's under 1.5 to Skunky. Rasmussen followed Diz earlier on, he's now trying to follow Diz again, he's got to hopefully try and make the move. McGowan 8 tenths off the back of Harris as well, and Diz at the moment being able to do what he needs to do so far.
Yeah, oh, he's was a little bit wide than Wilson though. Rasmussen put his nose there, but no room. I'll just jump to helicopter cam so you see the closing speed a bit better. Nope, not in Agostini. But Daz is so much better on the brakes behind him.
Daz just looks like he's got more confidence on the brakes, and that seems to be clear at the moment as they come through in towards Hamilton now. Tyre wall on the track. Diz just on the grass a little bit. That's going to hurt. Compromise his run into Oggies. Rasmussen looks to the outside, then tucks it back in and looks for the up and under, but can't get it. Diz now just started to extend them limits and just touch the bits of grass around this circuit. Mike's now 2.7 behind McGowan. McGowan's back within half a second of Harris, but here comes Rasmussen on Diz. Pulls out now. Is he going to get alongside? I think he has got alongside. Diz though has gone around the outside of Darren Yeo at this corner, and Rasmussen this time goes up the inside of Diz at this corner. Lovely move, great job.
Great pass. Now let's see how quickly he can pull away and catch Mike, but there's not enough time. I don't think that's quite a gap now. Not Mike. Ledger. Ledger's the car in front, and Ledger's now crossed the line. Our race 1 winner.
Yeah, good race 1 winner as well. So good move from Rasmussen there. Rasmussen, like I say, he's got to head after that race 1 winner. What about Harris and McGowan then at the moment? Looking good so far. Skunky's had yet another good day here, another good haul of points. Ninth place in race 1, leading the race here, and he looks pretty comfortable at the moment. Gap's gone back up to 1.7.
Yeah, let's see. Any other battles on the track? Well, Alex is now with Daz and Diz, so it is bubbling for the midfield.
Yeah, and Daz here will be looking to get inside that top 11 at the moment if he can get past Diz. And it's only really this battle then, and the battle between McGowan and Harris. That's 0.3 of a second is that fight. So Harris keeping the pressure on here.
McGowan's absorbing it quite well, isn't he? The pressure.
Yeah, he's doing well at the minute. He's doing well at the minute. Is Harris. To say that he's been struggling with his Lexus this season, it's nice to see him back to what is his best, like he used to be in the BMW.
Yeah, well, with Beasley not about at the moment, because whatever happened when Xbox went down or something like that, that's affected him. Excuse me, had a hiccup again. Let's see, does McGowan have a look into Wilson?
No, I don't think he's close enough yet to mount a proper challenge at the moment. So we're going to just drop that down to Diz and Daz. Paul Alex is now looking on the back of Darren Yeo. Side by side, they're going to come down into Richie's. Alex going to try and look around the outside of Darren. And through he goes. Darren's going to try and keep it there, though, for the Wilson hairpin. Great bit of racing from these two. Can Darren send it back up the inside at the hairpin of Wilson? He looks up the inside. Oh, did he just run a little deep there, Daz? He just clipped the front of Alex. I think a day late $8 short from Daz. Alex with a flash of the lights there. Yeah, I think Daz just missed his braking zone a little bit and just clipped into the side of Alex.
Yeah, I was still watching the Harris and McGowan battle at that time, so I completely missed that until I jumped over and saw Alex flashing his lights, which was probably only one button press, so it just flashed about 20 million times.
Mike's gaining on the back of McGowan now a little bit. He's starting to come more into this picture. We're down to 11.5 minutes. Very quiet out there so far in this evening. Alex still going to try and look for a way past Darren. This is going to hurt Darren, gaining on Diz at the moment, having to defend from Alex.
Yeah, Diz is pulling away at the moment. If you look at the gap, it's now about 2.5 seconds as they come up to a sector which is just before the bridge.
Back down to 1.7, so Daz gained a lot of time through the middle sector over Diz. It was about 2.3, so Daz has got the pace there to get up to the back off and past Diz. But he's got to worry about Alex Powell in that rear view mirror. Dan's got the gap back down to 1.5 seconds. There is Skunky, who just has a twitch through Palmer's a little bit. So Dan's coming back on Skunky here.
Mike's 3 seconds off the back.
Yeah, so he's fell further back, hasn't he? That's dropped him down a little bit more. Dan's within a second now. So good first sector from Dan's brought him half a second.
Yeah, as I'm trying to re-chat. I really need more screen. Mike's gone off. Agostini.
So Mike's off, and he's in the wall. Oh, he's huge in the wall. Just as I've posted the poll for driver of the day and put him on it, Fraser O'Brien's through, Michael Eckholt's through, O'Reilly is through, Patrick Ledge is coming, but Mike is hugely off out of the wall. That has to be all on his own because no one was near him in the background.
No one was near him. No.
That's a long way off there as well. That's a big bit of grass to run off onto to get into the wall there. So something has drastically gone wrong.
Yeah, but he's still going to get that, so I think. Maybe touched the curb slightly, or has his tyres gone off the boil again?
Oh, just make sure. A puncher, possibly. No, because he's done well after there. So all them pressures just deflate. He can't stop. He either can't turn it or he can't stop it.
What wheel does Mike use?
Fanatec. Has Mike got a puncher?
I don't know.
Drive through for Cloudon for track limits.
It's the first track limits we've had all week.
He's 21st, so he's had a nightmare as well. Edward Scissorhands
I think Mike has
down
got a puncture.
I think Mike's going to have to. He's either got a puncture or bad damage. Has something blown, and that's why he's gone straight through. He's got to be in the pits here. Surely this is a pit stop. Yes, it is. This is straight in. That is either for the damage on the car, or that is for tyres are dying, mistakes are coming, says Sam. Dan's within half a second of Skunky out front. Alex was always strong at the end of the races. It's good to see him back as well. Hopefully he can make a few more before the end of the season. So Dan's now gaining on Skunky for the end of this. McGowan's dropped off the back of Harris. I'd love to know if Mike's got a puncher here. I don't think we're going to be able to see because obviously that damage could well take over 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Daz has brought Darren Yeo has brought the gap back down to Diz, and he's got Paul Alex for company behind him. So Cloudon's in for his drive through. 48 seconds of damage told to pit. Mike, if you're in the chat, what was the problem with the car?
He would have got a meatball then when he
would have got, yeah. Oh, Darren! Oh, no!
Oh. Matt kind of cut. Oh, Daz and Diz. Oh.
Now, I don't know if Darren's got a tap from Alex. He's just gone so deep. Here's the Ferrari driver, and he's gone straight. We don't need a replay. He went straight into the back of Diz. That was all on Darren Yeo, if you ask me. Skunky, are these Ferraris dying?
I don't know, but it looked like it. In a 20-minute race, they're fine.
Richard Beasley in the chat, I can't get my Gamer Tag Xbox account back. That only was to set a new account up, order all the DACs again, and pay for another year of Xbox Live. To top it off, I have to start the game again with no ratings. So we'd love to hope that Richard Beasley would be back. And what a shame, Richard. You're going to have to obviously just redo that sign-up sheet with your new information, and we'll try and get that sorted out and get you back on the grid, Richard. But that is such a shame to hear that Xbox haven't been able to solve that problem for you. But Skunky's being caught here. Diz will be sore by that. I think Diz will be more than sore. Darren Yo there, that looked a little late on the... He's then outbraked himself into the back of Diz. Skunky's being caught by Dan. Mike's been in the wall. Rasmussen's within 3/10 of Ledger, and now Rasmussen's gone so deep at Agostini. He's now in the wall at Agostini. Something is happening to these Ferraris.
Yeah, I just saw the replay of what happened.
Did Alex hit the back of Dan? Daz?
Oh. No.
Exactly. Daz straight into the back of Diz.
Are the Ferraris dying, though?
Well, now are they dying? Or is this just their tyres?
Yeah. Especially if they didn't change them. If they didn't change them in the stop...
Well, I wouldn't have thought that Snetterton would have been the track where we'd be talking about tyre changes and tyre issues. My problem is it the fact that the pressures are low, that maybe because the curbs are aggressive around here, have the curbs caused them to lose pressure?
It would do, once it, because you clatter the curb enough, you're going to start knocking the wind out of the tyres, aren't you?
Mike, by the way, is 21st. Gone from 5th to 21st with that pit stop. Skunky's pulled out the gap again. Rasmussen's gaining now on the back of Alex. Ledger's gone up to 7th. Has O'Reilly had a mistake somewhere? I didn't see O'Reilly around Ledger. Ledger's, I think, moved up to 7th place. Yeah, this is interesting then for me. Alex up to 9th. I'm interested to see what these problems are with the tyres. I don't know what the problem is here.
No. What a race!
It's all started to kick off in this last couple of moments, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's just imploding.
The best thing is Mike's come out to a gap that's close enough to McGowan, like he was before he had the incident.
Yeah.
Sky retired Chris a long time ago. Sam saying that the curbs are giving them the kicking. Yeah,
Dan's made a mistake. He's a long way off the back of Skunky.
He is a long way off the back, yeah. That is huge. That was only a second. It's now 7.4.
Oh, everyone's tyres dying.
An interesting one, you know. We're gonna have to speak with Dan. I know Dan was like literally on the edge every single lap he did it earlier in testing, but there's a lot more than just Dan that's making mistakes at the moment, isn't it? Matt Wright's on the back of Paolo now. This is down for 17th and 18th down the order. Yep, seems that way, Chris. The BSP boys haven't been strong this year, but we've seen Max be the better driver this season, but don't know, BSP just haven't seemed to be at the forefront this season. And Ben has seemed to have to do the bulk of the work at the moment for the team. There's Matt Wright now trying to get on the back of Paolo.
Yep, 7.9, but yeah, it must have been a mistake by Dan somewhere. I tell you what, though, I think Harris is a contender driver for the day. He's held off McGowan since the pit stops.
Yes, indeed. We're still watching this fight of Paolo and Matt Wright for 17th and 18th. Rasmussen's on the back of Alex. Gary's up to 11th now due to mistakes from other drivers. Darren Yo is back on the rear of Diz. That's half a second. You got Ben in the background up to 15th. Danny's now 6.4. Yeah, he's had a quiet night all night, to be fair.
Yeah. It's just not been his track this week, has it, for Ben?
No, not at all. Not at all. Going to be interesting, I think, to see what will happen around here. As we come then into the latter stages of this race. Where is the race leader? He's just gone through Wilson. So I believe there may be one lap left after this. McGowan's back within 3/10 of Harris all of a sudden.
Having a look into... He did have a look this time into Wilson.
He did just have a slight look. Doesn't make anything there, though. Matt Wright on Paolo. That's pretty close. Coming down in towards Brundle and Nelson. Thank you very much, Sam. Appreciate the words there. The tyre wear here isn't massive. Riding the curbs is another issue, however. Hitting them early can cause issues and slow punches. I think that's, Phil, what Paul Williams has just said, is exactly what we've possibly seen here tonight.
Yeah. Pushing the limits of the track too far. And
me and Dan said it about Richie Michelle last night, and I think it's what we've seen here tonight. I don't get why Mike would be that far off at Agostini. Then Rasmussen went off at the same place. It just makes no sense to me why they were so far off there.
Harris was quite wide through Oggies and Williams. McGowan had another look, but couldn't get the job done. It should be the last lap as when Skunky crosses the line.
Skunky's round the final corner now. Not got time to slow down. Dan's only 5.9 behind. There's 30 seconds left in this race. We are going to start the last lap. McGowan's going to get one more chance to get past. Rasmussen will get one more chance to get past. Darren Yeo's going to have one more chance on Diz. He's gone deep again. Orgies and nearly runs into the back of him again. So Darren Yeo nearly making the same mistake here. And Matt Wright as well. He's on the back of Paolo. He'll have the rest of this lap and one more. But this race for Skunky, won in the pits.
Yeah, one in the pit stop. Again, another one he's won in the pits. I'll tell you what, Ferrari of a couple of years ago would love to have this strategist, wouldn't they?
Yeah, they would indeed, as Diz now rounds Oggies. McGowan trying to get onto the back of Hamilton, would love to make it a Red Line Junkies double podium. Could get a double Lexus podium here. We've got Machado gaining on Gary Leach. That's pretty close as they start their final lap of this race. We've still got Wright with Paolo. They're not yet starting their final lap. And Daz has dropped off the back of Diz. In fact, that's back to within 4/10 actually. I say that. So Daz starts his final lap. He's got one more chance to get past Diz. But the race leader is coming into the bomb hole. And for Skunky, well, what a day it's been. A ninth place, after disappointment at Monza. It's jubilation here, a ninth place. And then a race win. Well, that's exactly where you'd want to be, isn't it? That is exactly the type of positioning you'd want on this circuit. As Skunky then rounds the final corner, comes towards the start line. Skunky is going to take his third race win of the season and takes the checkered flag. What a race win by Skunky. Dan Davis is going to come home for second place. Not a bad job in the end from him, just lost it in the pits. Harris is going to hang on in there for that final podium spot. Great drive from Michael Harris. I don't think he's been on the podium since Mizano. McGowan, a solid P4. O'Brien, what a debut night for him. 14th place in race 1, P5 in this second race. Michael Eckholt, 6th and 7th for him. Good night of racing for Michael Eckholt. Then Mike has already finished racing 21st, and Clouden down in 20th position. Patrick Legier then, he took the race 1 win. He's going to come across the line for a solid P7, good solid P7. O'Reilly, not the night he'd have wanted, in P8. Paul Alex down in P9 before Julius Rasmussen in P10. And then we go back to Gary Leach, who does hold off that of Machado for P11 and 12. Then we've got Ben, who's going to come through. A very quiet P13 and 17 for him tonight. Darren Yeo will be next up. That is going to be P14 for him. So what has happened to Diz at the end? Because Blackmore as well will come through for P15. Paolo hasn't got P16. Matt Wright is going to get P16 then. So a good night for him.
Paolo went off at... Look, like Diz is stationary down the... on the escape road up the end of Bentley Straight.
Yeah, so Diz out of fuel. He's down in 19th place. Paolo's crossed the line for 17th. Pedro Viana has crossed the line for 18th place. So I'm just wondering if Diz has ran out of fuel. He is stationary. We will, though, jump in the Discord call for the interviews while we await for Diz's either resumption or the race to end. Back in just a moment.
Go, go, go.